first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. After coughing up a 15.5 game lead in the AL Central, the Tigers had to go into Cleveland for Game 1 of their AL wildcard series. Detroit ace Tarek Skubal, nothing short of outstanding.
Skubal feeling it right now. The lefty winds and fires. Swing and a miss! 1-0-1 with a sinker, and Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
The call on ESPN Radio, Skubal 3 hits, 14 strikeouts in 7 2/3 innings. Guardians did have a runner on third, bottom 9, no out, but could not score. Detroit won it 2-1. Both Detroit runs were unearned. And a wild card game on ABC. Padres on the board first. Jackson Merrill scored on an error. San Diego leads the Cubs 1-0 top 4. Ron Washington will not return as Angels manager in 2026. He missed most of this season after undergoing quadruple bypass heart surgery. NFL Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill underwent a major knee procedure today to repair multiple ligaments. He will miss the rest of this season. His coach, Mike McDaniel, says he may not need additional surgeries.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, Caleb Williams has the Bears sitting at 2-2. I'll tell you if Bears fans should be dreaming about the playoffs. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
You're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Shady, talking some recruiting in 15 minutes. John Nabors in 1 hour. Who is Arkansas going to hire? Will Blackwell here to talk about if LSU can fix that offensive line. Sean Salisbury in hour 3. My goodness, we got a ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Oh, is Hunt Palmer so sad? Cubs are down 1-0 in the fourth. Tell you what, Muse. Beautiful day at Wrigley. Beautiful day to watch the Cubs go home. Don't worry, Muse. You don't have to say
It's early, man. It's just the fourth inning. I mean, the Cubbies got time. It's game one of potentially 3.
It's LSU's open date, which means no typical media availability for Brian Kelly during the week. Didn't have his Monday press conference. However, he was a guest on the Feinbaum Show, as he is every Monday. And so that was the first opportunity we had to hear from Brian Kelly after the loss to Ole Miss. And so that means it was his first opportunity to speak publicly since watching the tape and reviewing everything with his staff and going into this open date. And as you might imagine, there was a lot that they didn't like on the game film.
Well, we got to get better. I think everybody's angry. I'm angry. I'm angry at myself for, not having the details in this game that we needed. And that starts with us coaching. That starts with teaching, preparing your football team. And then, at the end of the day, your players have to be disciplined and execute. But I think there's just a lot of disappointment in the way we prepared our team. And I take full responsibility for that.
Okay. There were some that didn't like Brian Kelly's deferral of blame in the postgame. In this conversation with Paul Feinbaum, it was the 180 of that. He took ownership of everything. To be very candid, I'm not going to rant and rave and yell and scream about what a coach says in a postgame press conference. Largely, it's just mindless drivel, and it's just getting through it. Unless if something happens like whenever he teed off on Michael Cobble, which we've talked about. I'm not sure we litigate that. But generally, I don't really care what happens in a post-game press conference. But the one thing that Brian Kelly did say with Paul Feinbaum that caught my ear was specifically when he was talking about the game plan against Ole Miss and how the game unfolded. Give a listen to this.
I'll go back to, our preparation. We got, 85 to 90% drop 8, and I look at our plan, and I didn't like our plan, and that falls on us. That can't happen. And we've got to be prepared for everything and put our players in a position to succeed. So, yeah, some of the guys needed to have better performances. There's no doubt, but it falls on all of us to take a good look in the mirror and find out why we came up short in this game. And we came up short because our preparation wasn't exactly what it needed to be for this game. And then when we needed to make those plays, get off the field on third down or catch a deep ball, we didn't make those plays. So it's on coaches, it's on players, and we simply have to be more effective.
Did you hear what he said at the beginning of the clip? That was like a 38-second clip. The first 5 seconds were probably the most impactful. Play it again.
I'll go back to, our preparation. We got, 85 to 90% drop 8.
Stop. 85 to 90% drop 8. 85 to 90% drop 8. That means 8.5, 9 out of 10 plays, Ole Miss was dropping 8 people into coverage. If Ole Miss is dropping 8 people into coverage, what should you do? Like, we could say this out loud. If they're dropping 8 are dropping back away from the line, 8 away from the line, what do you do? What do you do? You run the ball. 11 of LSU's first 14 offensive snaps were pass plays. 11 of 14 were pass plays. On the game, LSU ran 21 times for 59 yards. They threw it 34 times. Again, Brian Kelly said 85 to 90% of what they saw was drop 8. 85 to 90% of the defensive snaps from Ole Miss, they were dropping 8 into coverage. You would think, okay, that means there's only 3 men at the line of scrimmage. Like, I'm an idiot. I saw that. Talked about it on Monday. 85 to 90% of the plays, they're dropping 8, 3 at the line of scrimmage, yet you threw it 34 times and ran it 21. Doesn't it feel like that should be inverted? I can't help but wonder how much of this, and this is where the easiest thing to do is go, Joe Sloan sucks. Maybe he does. But the other part of this that I can't help but look at and go is, how often are they calling RPOs, which is run pass option, right? That's what RPO stands for. One of the best explanations of this I ever heard was Urban Meyer on the silly Fox morning show that nobody watches. But Urban Meyer talked about RPO, which by definition is a run with a pass option. It is a run call. You are calling a run play, but if you get the right look, you throw it with a pass option. Run with a pass option. How many times did Garrett Nussmeier check out of a run into a pass? That I have no way of knowing that. 0. Only Garrett Nussmeier, Joe Sloan could answer that question. But I want to remind you this. After the Clemson game, this was the Monday, right? This was Monday after Clemson. So not immediate post game. This was Monday after Clemson. You win the game. You watch the film on Sunday. Brian Kelly comes meets with reporters on Monday. This was Brian Kelly talking about Nussmeier's management of the offense of the Clemson game.
His management was outstanding. That's as good as he's been in terms of, getting us in the right run plays, making the right checks. As I said, I think he held the ball for no more than 2.2 seconds on an average. The ball came out quickly. That helps your offensive line. I thought he did that happens only when you have a veteran quarterback.
Ball got out quickly. He got us into the right running plays. Held the ball no more than 2.2 seconds. Remember, the big concern was Clemson's defensive line and the pressure. New offensive line for LSU. He got the ball out quickly, got you into the right running plays, right checks. So did Nuss just not make the right reads, right checks against Ole Miss? Was it Joe Sloan with bad calls or Nuss's lack of making the right? Those are the things I don't know. And if we had an opportunity to speak to Brian Kelly on Monday, you better believe that would have been the first question that I asked. But that's one of the things that I can't get out of my head when I continue to look at this, which seems so obvious. They rush 3. You've got to be able to run the ball against a 3-man front. And you didn't even try. You were such imbalance pass when they're dropping 8. Not me saying it. The head coach is telling you Ole Miss dropped 8 85 to 90% of the time. Which means you had numbers to run the football and you didn't even try. You threw it 34 times, you ran it 21. That should have been inverted. Why wasn't it? Is that Joe Sloan? Is that Garrett Nussmeier? Is it the week of preparation? Is it you did a poor job managing in-game adjustments as well when you saw what they were doing and you didn't flip to it? Ultimately, it all comes back to the fact that you were, and Brian Kelly said it, you had a better roster than they did. Your roster is better than theirs. That will show itself in April when the draft rolls around and LSU has a dozen guys picked. You are a more talented team, and you lost because of that. That's why you lost. Your defense was on the field for 84 plays and still only gave up 24 points. You realize you were 25 minutes into the game and Ole Miss had 3 points? 25 minutes into the game, Ole Miss had 3 points. You couldn't put together a 4-minute offense. They went boom, boom, back-to-back touchdowns. But 25 minutes into the game, they had 3 points. Your defense played fine, well enough to win, and your defense is good enough to beat anybody you play. You have got to figure out how to establish some semblance of a ground game. So Brian Kelly was asked by Feinbaum, what's the focus here on the bye week? Here's what he said.
This is getting back to what I said earlier. Our practices, our teaching, our meetings have to be so much more detailed and the specifics of how to do our jobs on a play-to-play basis. And that's caused us inconsistency because we haven't been detailed enough. And in particular on offense, our defense has been really solid. It's been such that we can win a championship with our defense. We have got to get our offense playing more consistently and doing the things that they're capable of doing and getting our players to make those plays. So that's what we'll spend this week on. That's what we'll be locked in on as we continue to move through, a schedule that allow us the opportunity to be a championship team.
He said a lot there. There's 2 things. Number 1 is get healthy. What do you use this bye week for? Number 1 is get healthy. Tell Garrett Nussmeier, go sit in an ice bath for 2 weeks. I don't care what you do. Red light therapy, PRP, BPC 157. It doesn't matter. Like PRP treatments, whatever you're going to do, just go put yourself in bubble wrap. Go sit in a hyperbaric chamber for 2 weeks. Go get your body as right as you possibly can for 2 weeks. Same with Caden Durham, Weston Davis, Paul Mabenga, Tradez Green, West Weeks. Everybody who's dealing with any type of thing, just go wrap yourself in bubble wrap for 2 weeks and get healthy. And number 2, you better find a running game. Because if you don't find a running game, you'll win games, but your opportunity to make a playoff and win a championship goes to 0. You'll win games. Yeah, you're going to beat South Carolina and Baton Rouge. You can win at Vanderbilt. A&M struggled to score against Auburn. Like you can beat A&M and Baton Rouge. Of course you can. You are capable of winning any other game on your schedule. But you're also capable of losing any of them if you play like you did on Saturday. Get healthy, find a running game. Do those 2 things over the bye week, you'll have a great chance to achieve everything you want in the second half of the season. All right, we're brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. The official beer of your Fighting Tigers, LSU. I'm not going to lie to you. I sucked back a few Bud Lights on Saturday night after that loss. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes you just want delicious cold refreshment. Sometimes you just want to go to a faraway place. Bud Light can help you do it. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Be sure you look for the officially licensed LSU cans. As a matter of fact, those have been moving so much. I told Erica on Sunday she was out on a grocery run, and I was at home watching the Saints, and I drank all my beer on Saturday. I said I need some more Bud Light. I said, look for the aluminum bottles. She couldn't find them. They were sold out. So we're on a hunt to find more. If you find them, grab them. Officially licensed LSU cans and 16-ounce bottles. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. We'll talk some recruiting with Shea Dixon when we come back. It's a Tuesday edition of AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Don't you move.
After further review.
Tomorrow is October, and October is the month when they will celebrate the centennial of Watermark Baton Rouge. Now, not the hotel property itself, but the physical building, the property, turns 100 years old in October. And they have a great slew of events coming up. You can learn more about it at their website at Watermark Baton Rouge. But coming up, really excited to celebrate a piece of Baton Rouge's history. And you notice it the second you walk into the doors there at Watermark Baton Rouge. And there's something for everyone. Listen, if you love to people watch and just maybe have a glass of wine, a cocktail, you could do it in their lobby bar, which is a gorgeous spot. You can see all the foot traffic there on 3rd Street in downtown. They got the Gregory, which is fine dining. They got Milford's on 3rd, which is a sandwich shop, which you can access through the lobby as well. If you're looking for a little staycation in downtown Baton Rouge, Watermark Baton Rouge is awesome, great for an LSU home game or to host any event that you have. Remember, it's Watermark Baton Rouge.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts
after further review. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Always appreciate our friends at Sunshine, Bunky and Below. You want a deer? You're going to Sunshine, sunequip.com, official partner of LSU Athletics. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, good enough to hang out with us as he does every Tuesday. We talk a little recruiting. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, Matt. I've been locked on LSU and your show a lot, so I'm taking it all in. I feel like I'm finally like the call-in show where I got in and now I'm able to talk.
Was the Locked on LSU, was that a reference to the podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting my morning that way.
Thank you so much. I would encourage anybody, if you would, please
and
download.
then I then make sure that I don't deviate that I can match some of what you say. So if people are mad at me, I'll just say I'll be mad at Moscona as well.
Of course, Locked on LSU is the podcast I do every day. I'd encourage anybody to either subscribe on your podcast app or on YouTube. So thank you for the plug, Shay. I appreciate it. Hey, I know you have a piece up over at the Bengal Tiger trying to identify what you think are LSU's offensive issues. If you're trying to put your finger on what's at the crux of it, what say you?
I mean, you said it. Everyone around has said it. I thought you did a good job of summing it up. I thought Josh Pate did a good job of summing it up. That when you get into a lack of productivity, I mean, a certain issue on the field, is it going? People want to blame a coach, a player, the play calling, the execution. When you're the worst in the SEC at rushing the football a year ago, and now you're second worst this year, only to South Carolina in yards per carry, and they're worse than you are. I mean, they're 1 and 2 right now. They're falling apart. That it's got to be it's a myriad of a lot of things, right, Matt? Like it's sure some can outweigh others, but everything here is involved. And so I start out by saying that I think it all starts with the fact that you can't run the football. And I went and looked at teams that have run the ball about as much as LSU, whose yards per carry are about as much as LSU are, and either they're worse than LSU or about as good as LSU. And if they happen to be viewed in a better light than LSU right now, it's because they play good defense, but they also throw the ball well. And certainly throw it for more than 7 yards, per reception, which ranks towards the bottom of the league. Which that was kind of my main point. Is yes, it all starts up front, but even then, look, a year ago you couldn't run the ball, but you could throw it. You can't couple those two together, marry those two together, and think that you're ever going to have much success, no matter how great your defense is or your special teams unit is. Let's not forget about that. Chadwick and Ramos have been amazing.
Yeah.
You're hoarding all of the best return men in the SEC. You don't really get to do kickoffs, but return-wise, I mean, you've got the guys. And then my other only thing is the thing that everyone's talking about is this whole, and I don't even think it's a thing. Like, people are like, is Nussmeier injured? And you could just watch it and see he's injured. Or I could just play you a clip of Brian Kelly telling you that he's injured. So we know that he's injured. I think now you have to balance, as a coaching staff, as a football operations building, a program of whomever is in charge of making these decisions. Is an injured Garrett Nussmeier to whatever degree better than Michael Van Buren, who we presume to be the first backup that would see the field? And look, Brian Kelly had said he's injured and we need to get him to the bye week and rest. Well, Southeastern gave us a little bit of fool's gold. When they played another good team, he looked like he was injured again. So I don't know. Look, I'm not his doctor. I hear all the rumors. I don't know what's going on relative to what it means of, is he going to be the quarterback when they play South Carolina? And if so, how healthy? And if he's not, that clearly means he's not healthy enough to play. And we're going to see Van Buren. Like, I'm not with the crowd that just thinks that even if Nuss is 80%, I would put Van Buren in because they don't have the run game or this. It's, and I'm sure, Matt, it's everywhere, right? But nobody loves a backup quarterback more than LSU fans. And I understand Nuss is hurt, but the reality is he's thrown the ball more than anybody in the SEC. His completion percentage is very good. It's that they throw for 7 yards at a time. Well, why are you doing that? with a gunslinger, and we know why. It's because he's hurt, and that limits what you can do on offense. So I think they're all in this balance of, is it hindering us to the degree that we need to try something else?
Just use this week to put him in bubble wrap, and let's see how it looks whenever they start getting ready for the Gamecocks. Hey, Shea Dixon's with us. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Is the bye week a real opportunity for the staff on the recruiting front? Like, what will they be doing this week?
I think that after you win, often you get very, like, had that been 5-0, you're on the road, right? Everybody's on the road. You're doing all that. I think that's going to, by about midweek, latter part of the week, they'll be on the road. They'll see kids in school, but then games on Thursday and Friday, right? You only get so many opportunities to evaluate a player. And often, Matt, that if I go and watch you play at Catholic, well, U High's got Lamar Brown and all these guys, so that counts as me seeing them both. So you kind of got to maneuver through that of, hey, do we want to check out one game that features multiple guys? So they'll be out on the road in the latter part of the week. Right now, from what I've gathered, is all hands on deck in terms of self-scouting. We're fixing this and everything that comes with coaching after the first loss of the season, which is, look, it's looked similar every game, so they're fortunate to be at 4-1.
Yeah. Shea, I want to ask you about a couple of prospects that could be interesting as we move throughout the fall. One of them is linebacker J.J. Bush, who committed to Arkansas. Now, you and I talked about this. LSU wanted him badly. I mean, Blake Baker had really identified Bush as a guy he wanted. Well, obviously Sam Pittman's fired. Travis Williams is fired. So Bush decommits from Arkansas. Where does LSU stand in – give us the thumbnail on Bush, if you would. Just remind people. And then where does LSU stand there?
Yeah, he's from Alabama at Theodore, and he was – all out to commit to LSU, and we had the stories ready. And then he said, look, I'm committing to Arkansas, committed there, and now with Sam Pittman's firing, he's opened things up, and he had been on a visit earlier this year. But I would not expect him to end up at LSU, and it's more so because LSU's not pressing for him like they were in the spring. I think that between just kind of a slower start to his senior year, but more so, fortunate or not, they've gotten to see their backups at linebacker now in live action. And they've got a lot of young kids who aren't that bad, right? That prove that they could handle their own. And Baker is your linebackers coach. So if you love him as DC, then you hope that he can develop your linebackers. And the reality becomes that you're losing Whit Weeks, likely. You're losing Harold Perkins, likely. West Weeks is at the end of his career. So the three guys beyond Devon Keys who have gotten the most snaps for you, in all likelihood, are not on this roster next year. Translation portal. So I don't look at it right now. They've got some edge rushers committed. I don't think that they consider high school linebacker to be of the utmost priority given. They've got a bunch of young linebackers on the team. What they need is some veteran guys on this team for next year, given that the guys they're leaning on most right now beyond Devon Keys won't be here. So I would not be shocked at all if they go for more than one linebacker in the portal, just given they're going to need some guys who've played, significant snaps, again, beyond Keys.
Yeah, it is interesting how they'll prioritize in the portal. Like a year ago, obviously, they needed to go get offensive linemen. They got 2 starters out of the portal. That might be the spot they look at here at linebacker. Let me ask you about
and DB. Let's not forget.
Yeah, of course.
Those guys have won it all over.
Of course, 2 safeties. You got Monsoor Delane, which, you might be in the same situation again next year if all those guys are going pro, which we'll get to. But I also wanted to ask about both Darius Gray and Emmanuel Iheanacho, a couple of offensive linemen, 5 stars that LSU was in on to the very end. And I know that they're still pushing for. Shea, is there a realistic possibility, especially considering the shape the offensive line is in right now, of flipping one or both of those guys?
I think so, yes, because I do believe that in a world where right now, NIL can be made equal or close to it with the aforementioned guys. So let's remove that from the equation for a minute, and geography, all of that. LSU's 4-1. And I have said this forever. High school kids do not, if I quizzed them all, they wouldn't know what LSU's like. If I got to the end of the season, they could not tell you if LSU was 10-2 or 9-3. Like, that's just not what they care. Like, They don't live and breathe it like we do.
Yeah.
They care about fit, now NIL's involved, all of that. But every one of these kids at LSU recruits is the best kid on their high school team usually. So they do care about playing early. And as you just noted, they took some transfer linemen that are on the back end of their careers. Are you going to sit here and tell me that anybody else on this O-line has a spot locked in? And even more so, are you going to tell me any backup that maybe isn't Carius Kern has a spot locked in? So for the first time in a real way, they can sell, hey, look, immediate playing time, because for 3 years you weren't, Matt Moscona, I promise you're our starting left tackle. When I'm sitting here looking at Will Campbell and Emory Jones starting as true freshmen, knowing they've got 3 years ahead of them, that's a little tough to do, to convince me of. I don't think they'll have that problem this offseason. So I don't know what the likelihood is, but realistic, absolutely.
Do you think they're more likely to address offensive line again in the high school recruiting with Gray, Iheanacho, or in the portal like you talked about with linebacker?
I think if you could get Gray and Iheanacho, who are guys viewed in a very similar, let me put it best to you. Those two would be viewed in a similar way that you would have viewed Carius Kern. They have not rushed to put Carius Kern on the field. So that at all times, even with the best, and we saw Will Campbell and Emory Jones had to take some lumps, right? I mean, and they were elite. They were always going to be good. So you're going to have to take some time with them, but they're really good. Like, the floor is so high there. If you can get your paws on a couple of guys that are like Braylon Moore, who come in here with 100 and something, 1,000 snaps and 30 something starts, and you're like, yeah, this guy's legit. Then that if it comes down to we have to have one or the other where we're allocating our rev share money, I'm going to guess you're going to choose the guy who's got a lot more experience, because yes, you're always building for the future, but you're in win now mode right now, and certainly in year 4 of the Kelly era. So every time that I kind of think about things like that, Matt, I would say if it has to be one or the other, I'm going to guess that they would lean towards the portal.
Shea, just one more that I wanted to ask about. It's at running back. And obviously that's been exposed. Now, I mean, Caden Durham goes out with injury, and in the first half, your running backs had a combined 2 rushing attempts. KJ Edwards is committed to A&M. That's a guy we've talked about a bunch, and I've been told LSU continues pushing for him. What's the update there with Edwards?
That's the other, just like the alignment, where you're pitching, hey, you can come in and play a lot. And we've seen it. They rotate running backs, even if they weren't trying to get creative because they had to, with Juwan Johnson, Xavion Thomas, all these guys. Like, Caden Durham will be a junior. We haven't even seen him pop this year. Harlan Berry, we know, is a great player, but he's a freshman. And there's room for others to have carries. So they've made KJ Edwards their only priority in running back target. So we'll see if that pitch is enough. But that is one where I was surprised they didn't get a portal guy a year ago. So this time around, I'd be floored if it wasn't one portal guy, if not 2, because I also think they want that guy, Matt, and I don't know if this moves the meter for you, but guys like Noah Kane, inside the 10-yard line, they were scoring with him, right? Like, he can get you 3 or 4 yards. So I'd like to see them add a guy who they know can go pick them up yards in between the tackles. You got Harlan Berry, you got Durham, and then potentially add someone who's got elite speed and a little bit of it all, which is what KJ Edwards is, or maybe someone in the portal.
He is Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger, of course, rivals as well for the recruiting info there, is with us every Tuesday. Shea, we always appreciate the time and the insight, man. Enjoy your open date.
Oh, okay. I'll try to. Thank you for that. Have a good week, Matt.
Thanks, man. That's Shea Dixon. We appreciate the time, as always. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Hey, remember, if you are building a house, tell your contractor, your builder, to use Relief Windows, because you install these windows on the front end and you're done for life. Remember, when you install energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows, lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. So if it's new construction, tell your builder, use Relief Windows, because you'll be done forever with windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, well, now I got a quick break here. Come back, go around the SEC. Also, we do know 2 new future sites for the national championship game for 2027 and 2028. We'll get to that and give some reaction as we continue here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
Y'all, we are creeping toward the busiest home selling and home buying month in this market. I know most people think spring, right? End of the school year, kids are out of school. That's when most people put their homes up for sale to move during the summer. Not so. It's November. November is the busiest market, the busiest month in the real estate market in Baton Rouge because, and it makes sense, you want to be in your new home for the new year. You want to be in your new home and settled for the holidays. You move now. So beat the rush. Darren James can help. Thinking about selling your home, you got to call Darren James. Nobody sells more homes than Darren, and I love telling you about this very useful tool. Go to agent225.com, agent225.com, hit the home value tab, type in your address. It'll tell you exactly how much your home is worth today using local market data. It'll be the most accurate estimate you'll get. Go to agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun, over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing high school student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com. Then we'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
I know nobody really cares where SEC Media Days is going to be held, but Brett McMurphy, outside of the media who have to attend and book flights and things like that, Brett McMurphy on 3 tweeting earlier today, SEC Media Days headed to Tampa, July 20th through the 23rd. It's the first time the event will be in Florida. That's something that was, when we were there in Atlanta this past summer, the 4 sites that I was told, very candidly, was having a conversation with Herb Vincent there at the league office, one of the last nights we were there. And they were discussing, it was Tampa, Orlando, New Orleans, and Houston were the 4. And I know there was a real effort to get the event to Florida. But New Orleans is in the queue, apparently, for SEC Media Days, which I, obviously for us, selfishly would love. As we often say, like you shouldn't necessarily care where that event is held, except for the opportunity for us to deliver great content to you. And if it's in New Orleans, our whole freaking staff can go. So that'd be great. I would love that a lot. Just right down the road. We can commute every day. But in any event, it'll be in Tampa this year. Also, Brett McMurphy reporting the Florida-Georgia game for 2027 will be in Tampa because Jacksonville Stadium will be renovated that year, so it'll be in Tampa in 27. And then the 2028 college football title game, so that's January of 29, will be in Tampa as well. The year before that, we learned yesterday, the championship game will return to New Orleans. So we know the next few years of the college football playoff national championship game. So New Orleans and Tampa are in the queue. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. ParishRestoration.com. ParishRestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, sanitization, all that good stuff. Garrett Nussmeier did an NIL deal with Parish Restoration. That's because he's a customer. Everybody knows Garrett's engaged now. He and his wife bought a home, or his fiance, I should say, bought a home and found out the home had mold. And so they called Jim Woodworth, Parish Restoration. They came out, sprayed their patented non-toxic dry fog, knocked out the mold. And Garrett now is, you can scroll down, Paulie, so you can get the photo. So you can see Garrett's testimonial there at the website at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Just fill out the form on the homepage, give you an estimate. Commercial, residential, it's Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We got John Nabors in 21 minutes from right now. Arkansas fired Sam Pittman. Bobby Petrino is the interim. Who is most likely to get that job? What's the feeling? We'll talk about all that coming up with John. Of course, Arkansas is one of LSU's permanent or annual rivalry games. So who Arkansas hires is very relevant to this fan base. So we'll talk about that with John coming up here a little more than 20 minutes from right now. Right now, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Brent Venables on his radio show Monday night gave an update for quarterback John Mateer, said he's already out at practice, going through stretching and, quote, going to push the limits on everything when it comes to his rehab and getting back. So, of course, Mateer underwent surgery on his throwing hand last Wednesday. He'll miss the game against Kent State. After that, no one's really sure when the return will be. The hope is that it'll be for next week. Oklahoma's coming off a bye. Next week is the Red River rivalry against Texas, what they're hoping for, but we'll see.
The Florida Gators.
Florida has offensive help on the way. Freshman receiver Dallas Wilson, practicing for the first time since being injured in fall camp, could make his collegiate debut against Texas this weekend. And I said debut. 6'3",
the Kentucky Wildcats.
6'3", 213-pounder from Tampa. Was the star of the spring game, if you remember. He was a 5-star, top 50 player nationally. Could be good to go this weekend. Now you can hit it, Muse.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
DJ Waller, injured Kentucky defensive back, been out with a hamstring injury that he suffered in the season opener against Toledo. Mark Stoops says they hope to have him back for the South Carolina game. Wasn't ready. Status for this week against Georgia up in the air, but they're continuing to gauge it.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
2027 offensive lineman Jatori Williams out of Phoenix City, Alabama, has committed to the Crimson Tide, the number 4 interior offensive lineman in the country. Picked the Tide over Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. 6'5", 320. He's number 73 overall in the country.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And how about this? Tennessee baseball coach Tony V and his tiny little pee-pee. That's a T-Bob line. It's not mine. Don't you quote me. Tony V has been linked to the San Francisco Giants manager job. How about that? San Fran fired Bob Melvin on Monday, 24 hours after the season ended. Andrew Baggerly from The Athletic says that Buster Posey, who's the president of baseball operations, has already met with Tony V. No MLB experience there for Tony V, but could very well be out of Rocky Top and out to the Bay Area. You'd hate to see it for all the Tennessee fans, wouldn't you? There you have it. This is around the SEC. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. Was over at the parish office earlier today, and there was we had a visitor to the office who was coming in for a sales meeting and all, and he was bemoaning the fact that he couldn't read the label on a bottle. And I said, man, got to call Dr. Blake Williams. Said, I will never be the guy reaching for readers. Because I spent my whole life being unable to see. Genetically, my family has awful eyes. God bless. My sister had glasses when she was 5 years old. Mom, dad, brother, me, all of us. Awful eyes. Just genetically bad eyes. And I wore glasses and contacts my whole life until about 7 years ago. Almost 7 years to the day. It was September the 11th. I had LASIK with Dr. Blake Williamson. And to be able to wake up in the morning and see is unbelievable. It's like spending your whole life watching standard def, and then you see HD for the first time. You're never going back. And I'm going to tell you this straight up. My eye will keep aging, and later down I'll have other issues, whatever. LASIK doesn't wear off. It changes the shape of your eye. So that's a misconception. LASIK never wears off. It's just other parts of your eye age. So in the eventuality, as I get it later in life, something happens, I'll go back to Dr. Blake. I'll say, what can we do? Maybe it's PRK. Maybe it's a lens replacement. Maybe it's something else. But I'll tell you this much. I'm never wearing glasses and contacts again. Knowing there are options out there, why would you? 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, let's add further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us. You can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show if you want to do so. Let me knock out a break. There could be a pretty seismic shift coming to the way you consume college football on TV. We'll get to that. John Nabors again here in about 17 minutes from right now. And I do want to go deep dive into Saints against Jaxson Dart. We'll get into that in about half an hour as the rookie quarterback from Ole Miss now with the Giants will be making his first career road start in the Dome this Sunday. Want to peel back the layers of the onion on that matchup. We'll get to it here in about a half an hour. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you want a pool, you call Duplessis Builders. That's what you do. Because they're the best, not my opinion. Pool and Spa Magazine ranked them a top 50 pool builder in America. They were number 26 in the country, number 1 in Louisiana, number 26 in the country. So that's why they're going to build you a beautiful pool, like a lot of places will. Go look at Instagram. I mean, a lot of people build beautiful pools. Resort style pools are gorgeous, but they build a pool that lasts. 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year. At Duplessis, their warranty is 10 years. They support the Tigers, great NIL deals, but also they support the community. And right now, Duplessis is doing a Dream Pool sweepstakes. If you go to 1045ESPN.com, 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 you'll see the link on the homepage. Make a $25 donation to Dreams Come True of Louisiana, and you're automatically entered to win a Dream Pool courtesy of Duplessis Builders. Why would you do business with anybody else? Check them out online at duplessisbuilders.net.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown.
parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Tractors, combines, zero-turn mowers, gators. They got it all. Also, all your tailgating supplies as well. Generators, fans, all that stuff. Get by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunnyQuip.com. Ross Dellinger's got a report up at Yahoo. This is potentially really interesting. So there are a group of United States senators that are that have introduced a bill that would amend the Sports Broadcasting Act. This is relevant, and if you want to read it, you can. I don't know that I want you to pull. Well, Paul, you could show it. I was omitting the headline because it lists one of the political parties, and I just know the way that people are. You see a political party, and you're just, if it's not your party, you just recoil on everything. But you can show it, Paulie. It's fine. So it's Senate Democrats introduced bill to amend Sports Broadcasting Act. I don't care that it's Democrats. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're red or blue. None of that matters. Please, purge that from your brain. None of that matters. This is just about watching college football on TV. And this is the important part of it, okay? So the amendment to the Sports Broadcasting Act would permit college conferences to pool their broadcasting rights. So let me say this in another way so you will understand how relevant this is, okay? So right now, the SEC has all the SEC schools sign over their grant and rights to the league. So basically, LSU doesn't go do its own TV deal. LSU and Florida and Georgia and Bama and Texas and all 16 schools in the league say to the SEC, we're giving you the power to go negotiate a deal for all of us. Okay? So the SEC now has a deal with ESPN for $1 bajillion, right? The Big Ten, same thing, and ACC, and so on. What this is saying is that conferences could go in together, which is not allowed right now. But if they amend the Sports Broadcasting Act, it would allow the conferences to come together. So hypothetically, you know where I'm going here. The Big Ten and the SEC could come together and go to ESPN, Fox, CBS, and say, Amazon, Netflix, and say, who wants us? And make no mistake, the most valuable real estate in live television is sports. There is nothing even remotely close. You get live sports, that's the most valuable thing in television. So, as I have said for many years, my theory is we are not going to have conferences. We are going to have college football in the same way that we have the NFL, just one college football, all under the same broadcast, right? Like where there's one TV deal, just like the NFC South doesn't have its TV deal, the NFL has a TV deal. Same thing's coming for college football. It's how it's going to be structured because that's the model to be the most profitable. That's what they're going to head to as soon as they can figure out how to distribute all the money fairly and equitably and evenly or however it needs to be, and expanding the playoff and all that stuff. That is the means to the highest dollar amount. It's what's going to happen. They're not going to just stop loving money and stop trying to generate more revenue. It's what they're going to do. And this would open the door to be able to do that. So we'll follow this to see how it moves through Congress. But this is going to be one to watch because this would remove a barrier currently preventing the conferences from doing that, but in time would certainly lead to the inevitability of that happening. So we'll keep you posted, and we'll follow it. All right, it's after further review. Sports Center's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, we're heading up to Fayetteville. John Nabors is here. Who's Arkansas going to hire? We'll talk about it next.
AFR.
I love telling you about South Point Volkswagen because we're South Point Volkswagen customers. I was texting with some friends today, and buddy Ryan said, hey, man, do you remember a few years ago when you were at the Zurich Classic and there was a guy who, when you got in your car, said, man, you really drive a Volkswagen? I said, well, of course I do. It was the valet. Like, I went to go do my show at Zurich, and they're very kind. And because we're lugging gear, they give us a valet pass so we can pull up to the front so we don't have to, run on shuttle buses and everything with our gear. And as I was getting my car to leave Zurich that day, the valet was like, hey, Scone, oh, you really drive a Volkswagen? Yes, I do. Going to the parking lot here at Guarantee Media. I'm in spot 16. Probably shouldn't tell everybody that. But you'd see it. It's a black Volkswagen Atlas Crossport. Go to our house, open up the garage. You'll see Erica's white Volkswagen Atlas right next to mine. We're a Volkswagen family, and we buy our cars at South Point Volkswagen, and you should too. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Christine Lisi. On this first day of Major League Baseball's postseason on ABC, it is the wild card opener for the Padres and Cubs. Chicago couldn't do much against Nick Pivetta until the bottom of the fifth when Seiya Suzuki and Carson Kelly hit back-to-back solo shots. Chicago leading it 2-1, bottom seven. Tigers ace Tarek Skubal looking every bit like the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner in Game 1 AL wildcard against the Guardians. 3 hits, 14 strikeouts in 7 2/3. Detroit clinging to a 2-1 lead. Will Vest on the hill looking to close things out. Man on for Cleveland, bottom 9.
First pitch to the left-handed hitting Kafis has popped up on the infield. Out into shallow left. Baez circling, calling. He's got it. And the Detroit Tigers take Game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series. They defeat the Cleveland Guardians today 2-1 as Will Vest survives. A man at third, nobody out jamming the ninth.
Final call on ESPN Radio of Detroit's 2-1 win. Ron Washington will not return as Angels manager in 2026. He missed most of this season after undergoing quadruple bypass heart surgery.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, Caleb Williams has the Bears sitting at 2-2. I'll tell you if Bears fans should be dreaming about the playoffs. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Number 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And a Mr. Toby Tom play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Former LSU offensive lineman, All-American Will Blackwell in 30 minutes. Like, can you actually fix this offensive line in half a season? We'll ask him in 30 minutes from right now. We have our first firing in the Southeastern Conference. Sam Pittman fired after the Hogs were embarrassed by Notre Dame 1 week after blowing an 18-point lead against Memphis. And their athletic director, Hunter Yurachek, said point blank that he had no chance.
You know, you were at the board meeting, and I gave you some statistics where our head coach compensation, our assistant coach salary pool, our support staff salary pool, and our overall operating budget ranked towards the bottom of the Southeastern Conference. I think with that information, Coach Pittman did not have the resources he needed to appropriately compete in this conference right now.
Hey, sorry we didn't get what you need to win. You're fired. What? All right. Our buddy John Nabors is going to join us now. Of course, you can catch John with the Locked On Hogs podcast and also Inside Arkansas. Hey, man, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Oh, just great. I mean, it's something I've looked forward to every single day of my life is coaching searches. But, man, this is it's been a wild 48 hours. I can tell you that.
It's great for podcast downloads.
Man, you ain't lying.
Okay, give me your reaction to, I guess, the whole thing, the firing, the timing, the all of it.
Yeah, so it was one of those things to where I had been hearing after the Memphis loss that Arkansas had, which was pretty embarrassing because they had blown such a pretty big lead. I mean, Memphis is a good team, don't get me wrong, but when you're up 28-10 and you're an SEC team, you should take care of business instead of scoring 3 points in the second half and end up losing and letting them come back from behind. I've been hearing that week that there was probably going to be some sort of change made going into the bye week. However, Arkansas still had a game against Notre Dame, which is really upsetting because that was like the only time these teams have played. It's probably the only time in my life I'm going to see Notre Dame in Fayetteville, as well as many other people. And then you saw that embarrassment. I mean, Arkansas gave up 42 points in the first half to Notre Dame. It seemed like the writing was on the wall, and it was just a matter of time. And so Arkansas moved quickly. It wasn't surprising that they did fire Sam Pittman on that Sunday. It makes sense to bring Bobby Petrino in as the interim, which is still a wild story. And then it's just been chaos ever since and wait and seeing what the next big news piece is going to hit. But it was time. I feel like myself and many Razorback fans felt like Sam Pittman probably should have been let go at the end of last season because now it seems like you just wasted 9 months for no reason whatsoever.
There was a component of Pittman's buyout, John, where that if he had a sub 500 record, the buyout dropped significantly. So why now? Why not wait till November when seemingly he would have been sub 500 and they would have saved a bunch of money?
I think it was just a matter of looking at what the team and what the players had let go of the rope. It's just a matter of, do you really want to have 7 games of this be seen? It was all inevitable at that point. And, you know, I believe that the buyout and the buyout money has never been an issue. I know that they did a settled amount out of there where they got a little bit cheaper, still a significant amount of money. But I think it's that, and also just sending a message to fans, sending a message to the college football world that, hey, this is not going to happen. This is not going to be tolerated. And they wanted to make the move there. So whoever's going to be paying the buyout, it ain't going to be me, but whoever's paying it obviously is fine with doing the firing and having to pay for whatever that amount ends up being. But still, it's just something that needed to be done and needed to be done in the bye week.
Okay. What is Sam Pittman's legacy at Arkansas?
That is a great question because I've thought a lot about this, and it's unfortunate because I mentioned last year, if they would have let him go at the end of last season, would he have been remembered as this iconic legend coach? Absolutely not. If anything, I think Razorback fans would have looked at him and saying, hey, we appreciate you for coming into this situation that wasn't good. You had Chad Morris back-to-back 2 and 10 years. Your first season was during COVID. You made Arkansas into at least a competitive program. And following a 4-8 season, you stepped back up and you got back to at least a 7-6 season. We appreciate you, Sam. We appreciate you getting Arkansas back to at least a little bit of relevancy, but it's time to move on. But instead, you stuck with him, and now it's almost going to be a sour taste in everyone's mouth because now his lasting legacy is getting blown out and being there a guy that looked like he was a lame duck coach, who looks like he wasn't set up for success, who looks like he just lost the team completely, didn't look like he had a grasp on everything around it. And it's just not going to be a very fond memory Razorback fans are having because of these last 5 games. And it's just unfortunate. Again, I appreciate him. Everybody appreciates him. He's a nice guy. He's a guy you'd love to have a beer with. But it's a performance-based business, and he was not winning at a high enough clip for Arkansas fans to be excited about the future of him and excited about him remaining as coach.
He's on Twitter at John Nabors Show. Give him a follow. Of course, Inside Arkansas and the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. So Bobby Petrino's interim, that's a wild story in and of itself for all the reasons we know. Does he have a legitimate shot, John, of getting the job full-time?
I think he does. Now, I don't believe that it is the number one option that they have, But there has been some expressing of Bobby Petrino wanting this job. I still can't believe I'm saying this after everything that happened about 15 years ago. It's insane. But he does desire, he wants the job. And I look at the Petrino angle of with the firing of Sam Pittman, he fired the entire defensive staff essentially too. He's rolling in. He's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this my way. And he's going to try to approach it that way. And when this team gets together, they play Tennessee next on the road. Not exactly an easy thing to do. It's going to be interesting to see with how this team comes out. But he's got 7 games. He's got 7 games in 9 weeks to prove that he is the guy. I don't think it's fair to say, well, you better go 5-2 if you're going to stay on. I don't think it's fair to do that. But it's a fascinating thing because what if he does? What if he does turn this thing around? What if he does reignite the team and suddenly they go 4-3, something crazy like that? Go to a bowl game, which they're not looking at one right now. How does that change everything? It's like you have to give him the job because he showed that he could do it. But my thing is, Matt, is that Arkansas and Bobby Petrino, we know there's history there. Bobby Petrino is not a dumb guy. He wouldn't be wanting and desiring a head coaching job if he didn't feel like he could succeed at it, but also feel like he didn't have the support. And in my opinion, I believe there is somebody or a good amount of people who have backed Bobby Petrino in this saying, hey, if you want the job and if you end up being the head coach, we got you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure you got the NIL. We're going to make sure you have everything you need. To me, that'd be the only reason why Bobby would truly, truly want this job instead of just saying, hey, yeah, let me have this 1 year and I'm out of here, man. I'll go find something else because I don't want to deal with this nonsense.
So, but John, it's an interesting question then. Why would boosters, help us understand the culture, why would boosters not support Sam Pittman on the NIL front, as Hunter Yurachek said, but they would be lining up to support Bobby Petrino?
This is the thing that's been very controversial that Razorback fans continue to hear. The culture over here at the University of Arkansas and the football program is not a good one, and it's been toxic for a long time. It's been something to where it feels like nobody's communicating, nobody's transparent, and nobody really knows what's going on. And when you had the comments yesterday about Yurachek, I'm like, okay, so a few things have to happen here because Yurachek has been going on about we're not set up to win a championship. We have no money. We don't have this. We don't have that. It's like, okay, so that becomes the question of are the boosters willing to pay a new coach, or is it more of we just don't want to support you, Hunter Yurachek? We don't want to support you in the program that you're trying to go in, the direction you're trying to go with the program. So we're not going to give it to you because you retained Sam Pittman, you kept him on. So we're just going to wait until that plays out, and then we're going to make moves and we're going to move on from it. To me, that's what it has to be because it would make 0 sense. And if I'm Hunter Yurachek, here's my thing, Matt. If I'm Hunter Yurachek and after last year, if I'm going to these big donors, be like, all right, where's the money at? And they go, we're not giving you any. You know, my first thing is, okay, well, I'm going to go fire Sam Pittman. I'm going to find a coach that you will set up for success. So something went awry here. I think it's more of a leadership thing. I think it's more of an administration thing. And that's why I just don't know if Hunter Yurachek's going to be around much longer as athletic director, just to be honest, because of the vibes and the feeling around here. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And in a way, I kind of feel bad for Pittman and staff because I'll tell you this, Matt, I had assistant coaches that I talked to earlier in the spring that were calling me up saying like, these guys are setting us up for failure. We don't have the support we need. This is a bad situation. And it looks like it came to fruition. So very strange, very odd, but I think there's a lot of major changes that are going to continue to happen here at Arkansas.
Especially against that schedule. John, look at the rest of the, I don't know, the wish list or the realistic candidates. I mean, I know Rhett Lashley at SMU said he's happy at SMU, which I would be too. What feels like the short list, either the wish list or the realistic list? Who are the names that make sense?
Well, see, that's the thing is because, before, Matt, when you could go through coaching searches, you could be like, all right, well, I know where we stand in facilities. I know where we stand in recruiting. I know where we stand in all these things. And you could kind of gauge of who's realistic and who's not. But because of this day and age with NIL and with money being everything where you don't know how much, it's like, there could be some names where I'm like, there's no chance that happens. But if the donors and these boosters truly have all this money that they're going to flood, then they suddenly become a lot more realistic. So it's really tough to gauge it into that. But obviously, Rhett Lashley is the common name. He went to Arkansas. He's from Arkansas. And obviously he's had some success there at SMU. I know people are always going to look at the common ones, of a John Summerall, somebody like that, that's at a group of 5 program that could step up. And for some random reason, I know this is going to sound stupid, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. This John Gruden thing does have a little bit of leg to it. I'm not saying he's going to be the Arkansas head coach, but He's best friends with John Daly, and we know Big John Daly's an Arkansas guy, and he's been pushing it. For some random reason, Brett Favre tweeted out and posted yesterday on Facebook that he wants him to have the job. I don't know why. No one asked, but he did. And it was just very strange. So I'm not saying it'll happen, but it's one of those things. It's just, I'm like, all right, well, what if it did? That'd be kind of wild. That'd be kind of cool. So, there's a lot of names getting thrown around, and it'll, even Gus Malzahn's getting thrown around a little bit. It's like, geez, I don't want to go down that road. But, the names will start to come out a lot more as the season continues to go on.
He's got Gus Malzahn has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th best odds to be the Arkansas coach. Is the Arkansas coaching search the drunkest coaching search in college football?
Of course it is. It always is, man. It never goes according to plan.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, I don't lock in on Arkansas coaching searches.
Oh man, you should, because it keeps you entertained. It keeps you up at night too. It's just the craziest thing because listen, you're like the last major coaching search you had was with
John
you think about Chad
Calipari,
Morris.
man. Oh, you're talking about football?
What?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, football, basketball's easy. Basketball and baseball or any of these other sports, those are the easy ones. It's the football because there's so much involvement. But you think back to like the Chad Morris thing. Well, you ended up with Chad Morris because you didn't have an athletic director either. You fired Jeff Long, and that ended up being a disaster. And then, you had the situation with Pittman. You had actual legitimate great candidates, but the problem was Yurchek did not want to deal with Jimmy Sexton. And last time I checked, Jimmy Sexton represents a lot of great coaches.
All of them.
And he didn't like to deal with them. So, you had that madness. And then in this case, it's like, how much money do we actually have? Because you got Yurchek saying that we didn't have this money to support Pittman, but don't worry, now we do. It's like, okay, so what changed? What's going on? There's just so much confusion and a lack of communication on it that nobody really knows where to go with. And that's what makes it so drunk is they could end up with a rock star hire. The Calipari thing, I think, has made Razorback fans think like, oh, yeah, we could get Nick Saban. I mean, that could happen. But it's also made it to where they could go a billion different directions and they end up hiring somebody that no one's even talking about. Like, it's just all over the place, my man.
I mean, after Chad Morris went from SMU to Arkansas, I'd be leery about Rhett Lashley. I know it's completely different, but the SMU to Arkansas pipeline didn't work out so great last time.
I mean, is it any drunker than bringing back Bobby Petrino and making him the head coach again after all that?
Part of all this. That's kind of part of all of it. It's what I'm saying. It's fascinating theater. If you want to learn more about it, you should go to Inside Arkansas, and you should subscribe to the Locked on Razorbacks podcast there with John Nabors, and follow him on X at John Nabors Show. At John Nabors Show. Thank you, John.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, be well. It's after further review. Man. And if you're that drunk, then you should drink Evermore to rehydrate your body. How about that? Yeah! Love that one. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Available at great local retailers. If you walk into a retailer and they don't have Evermore, please go to the cashier, say, I demand to speak to the manager now. And then when the manager comes out, she or he, look that person in the face and say, why in the world don't you carry the best water on the face of planet Earth? Evermore. EVAMOR. I drink 2 of these 64-ounce bottles every single day. Stay hydrated. It's so essential for hydration is essential for immunity, for your immune system, to make sure all of your body's processes function normally, especially when it's still hot outside. You forget to drink water if you're going to be drinking alcohol around game days so much in the fall. Stay hydrated. Drink Evermore. And support a great Louisiana business. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Okay. Saints are facing Jaxson Dart. Got a little bit of a deep dive into this matchup. We'll do it next on AFR.
AFR.
We had a little nip in the air this morning. Walked outside. It was 68 degrees. I know that's not really cold, but still a sign of things that are coming. Fall is almost here. We are a month away from Halloween. What an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery, y'all. Love telling you about Clegg's, great local business. 60 years in our community. It's what I always encourage you, man. Bypass the big box store. Don't go into the big orange or blue box store. Support a great local business. Go to Clegg's Nursery. And there's 4 locations, so no matter what part of town you're in, there's one near you. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and then the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, which is the largest garden center in the state of Louisiana. That's the one Terrio talks about. You go to the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, and it's just like as far as the eye can see. It's massive. What an amazing selection and great people. So buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We ride back and forth till we run out of light. Take it to the barn, put it up for the night.
Without a dominant receiver, it's going to force Jaxson Dart to look at the whole field and only throw to the open guy rather than try to get the ball to one guy. Plus, it's going to help develop some of the other younger, really good receivers like Wan'Dale Robinson, who may or may not be on my fantasy team and who has shown some signs of progress and excitement. That's my hard sell. How did I do?
Ian Rappaport, who apparently is a gigantic fantasy nerd, talking about what the Giants' passing game will look like without Malik Nabors. And we all just feel gutted for Malik. Louisiana guy, stud at LSU, awesome rookie season with the Giants, emerging as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and cut down in week 4 of his second year with a torn ACL, and he has a long recovery ahead of him, and we wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he's back soon to being one of the top receivers in the entire National Football League. That can exist, and so too can the reality as we talk about the competitive balance of the game on Sunday, where you have Jaxson Dart, who's a rookie quarterback, making his first ever road start, and he has to do it now without Malik Nabors, who's obviously his best weapon. Harry Douglas obviously played wide receiver in the NFL, and he does a show on ESPN Radio nationally called Freddie and Harry, and he tried to discuss the impact on Jaxson Dart not having Malik Nabors.
He also has another rookie to back him up and have his back. And I thought Cam Scatterbull, Freddie, how many times did I say that, right? Before, Tyron Lacey got hurt and Scatterbull got the starting job. He needed to be the starting running back because he brings something different to the Giants football team. It's that physicality from an offensive standpoint. But just his physicality, blocking and pass protection, blocking when he's a lead blocker for Jaxson Dart, and also rushing the football, like that's something different that I feel like this team needs.
Of course, we all had the opportunity a year ago. We college football fans had the opportunity to see Cam Scatterbull a year ago, and he just really emerged to stardom, especially late in the season. The incredible performance he had in the playoff game against the University of Texas. And Scatterbull, his NFL career here with the Giants, although they're 1-3, he's off to a pretty good start. He leads the Giants in rushing so far through 4 games. He's got 48 rushing attempts for 181 yards, just under 4 yards a carry. I understand that's not great, but after Scatterbull at 48 rushing attempts, next closest is Tyrone Tracy Jr. at 22. So you're seeing a couple of rookies here with Scatterbull and Dart who are kind of emerging as the future, along with Malik Nabors, of this offense in New York. And it was interesting hearing a couple of former NFL head coaches talk about these young guys. Rex Ryan, for example, was on Get Up, and he talked about what having those young guys, Scatterbull, Dart, like what those young guys brought to the Giants in their win against the Chargers on Sunday.
Not only was the quarterback bringing juice, the running back bringing juice, it feeds to the entire football team. Dexter Lawrence, Burns, all those guys. That defense, best that defense play. It's no surprise to me. And I've been calling from jump about it. In 42 rush attempts. I've seen that formula work before. Don't tell me it can't be done.
Grounded pound with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, go to a championship game. Why? We led the league in rushing attempts. That's how you do it. You manage a rookie quarterback like this. And what I saw, the energy this cat had. He had like over 50-some yards rushing.
Rex Ryan, of course, is talking about when he was with the Jets, and Mark Sanchez was the quarterback that they drafted, and they went to the AFC Championship game, leaning heavily on the run game and the defense. And ultimately, that was not sustainable, but you have to have a dominant run game and a dominant defense, which the Jets had. I'm not sure the Giants have, but it was impressive against LA this past weekend. And, Sunday for Dart in his debut, it was his 3rd game played, but that was his first start. And against the Chargers, they didn't ask Dart to do much. He was 13 of 20 for 111 yards. Say that again. 13 of 20 for 111. Touchdown, no interceptions. He also ran it 10 times for 54 yards and a score. That might be the differentiator that you put the asterisk next to. But the Chargers lost the turnover battle 2-0. The Giants possessed the football for 35.5 minutes to 24.5 for the Chargers. And the Giants' defense recorded 6 sacks. Remember, Joe Alt, the Chargers, the Notre Dame first rounder of a year ago, got hurt and carted off in that game. So the question is, okay, maybe that formula can work if you get 6 sacks, win the turnover battle 2-0, and control time of possession by 11 minutes. And by the way, they won the game 21-18. It's not like it was a rout. So, and that was at home. So I look at Dart, and it was impressive to manage it the way he did. And Herm Edwards was also on ESPN Radio, who gave his impression of Jaxson Dart's debut.
It was fun to watch, and plays with a lot of energy, but he's going to have to temper himself some because he's not going to make it through the season if he continues to run and not protect himself. And that's the first thing I would tell him when the game's over. That next day, hey, look, man, you want to have a long career, you got to learn how to slide, and you got to learn how to get down. Because at this rate, you're going to run into a guy that's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. And the problem is when they hit you and you don't get up, then you're standing over here by me, and that's not a good thing. I want you in the game. So if you're a Giants fan, you're excited about it.
That is one thing to watch. And I remember when Joe Burrow was a rookie, it was a very similar conversation when there was this story. Forgive me, I don't know the ref's name, but there was a ref who kind of went up. It was one of those mic'd up moments when the ref went up to Burrow during his rookie season. It's like, hey, 9, you're a great player. You need to learn to slide. You need to learn to get down. So like, protect yourself. And it's the same true for Dart and for all these quarterbacks. But I look at Dart, and I can understand the excitement for the Giants getting a win behind their rookie quarterback. Listen, I mean, Spencer Rattler's tried 10 times now and still hasn't gotten a win. Dart got a win in his first go-round. And remember, the New Orleans Saints put a ton of time into evaluating Dart through the draft process. Remember, New Orleans tried to trade back into round 1 to draft Jaxson Dart, but the Giants were the one that got the deal done to trade back into the back of round 1 to select Dart. The Saints were trying to get back in to take him. And ultimately, they took Shuck in round 2 at number 40 because they couldn't get the deal done to move back in. I mean, and Kellen Moore on Monday had a lot to say about Jaxson Dart. Someone they spent a lot of time evaluating.
Yeah, Jackson's a really good player. He was a really impressive player at Ole Miss, and so when we went through this process, obviously we spent a lot of time with him. He's a great kid. He's going to be a really good quarterback in this league, and for him to come out, win his first game, use his legs in some situations, he's a really talented player, and so he's going to get better each and every week, and so that's going to be the challenge for us. Is he's going to be a much better player this week than he was last week, and so it'll be a challenge for us. There's still a lot of unknown just because he's only played one regular season game, and it'll be a lot of challenging circumstances for us.
There's a few things though that I think are super relevant. One, so far the Saints, the 4 quarterbacks they've faced, Kyler Murray's played in 86 games. Mac Jones has played in 54. Sam Darnold's played in 87 career games. Josh Allen, 115, and he's won an MVP. Now you face Jaxson Dart without Malik Nabors. And if I flip this and look at the New Orleans Saints, each week you have gone against a legit number 1 who has really had a field day against Kool-Aid McKinstry. Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 catches, 71 yards, and a score. Juwan Jennings, 5 catches, 89 yards, and a score. JSN, 5 catches, 96 yards, and a score. Shakir this last week, 5 catches, 69 yards, and a score. No Malik Nabors. Can Slayton do it alone for the Giants? Big question. Maybe. But again, Dart was only 13 of 20 for 111 yards. They gave him a lot of manageable situations and manageable throws. I don't know that they're looking for the game-breaker play from Dart. You may need that against this Saints defense. And the other part of it, too, is rookie quarterbacks in recent history haven't done great even against New Orleans. A year ago, the Saints did face Jaden Daniels, but that was a close game in the Dome. Remember, that one finished 20-19. And then in 2023, they beat Bryce Young twice. They were 2-0 against Bryce Young. They faced Tyson Bagent and Tommy Cutlets that year as well. So and beat them both, obviously. So it's just a really difficult thing to ask a rookie quarterback making his first road start without his best receiver to try to win the game. It's why the Saints are a slight favorite. If the Saints go play clean, I think the Saints have a great shot to get their first win of Kellen Moore's career, and obviously the first win for Spencer Rattler, who currently is 0-10. Saints and Giants, Sunday at noon in the Dome. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. Can LSU fix the offensive line this year? We'll ask former All-American Will Blackwell next on AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for a decade. Get Gordon, for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Love telling you about Gordon and all the great things that Gordon, his firm, have done not only in Baton Rouge, the community, the entire state of Louisiana. It's rare that you go to any type of charity event without seeing the big block G, because Gordon believes in giving back. That's why Gordon Gives exists. It's the charitable arm of the law firm. Go to GordonGives.com to learn more about all they do, GordonGives.com. But if you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, I'm not just talking about big truck wrecks or auto accidents. Yes, it's a big part of their business, but it's any type of accident. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, let Gordon go to work and his team go to work to get you what you deserve. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Sean Salisbury in about 25 minutes from right now. Talk about Garrett Nussmeier. Also, the Jaxson Dart Spencer Rattler matchup this weekend. We've obviously talked a ton about what's wrong with the LSU offense. Will Blackwell, former Tiger All-American offensive lineman, is a good person to ask what's going on with that unit. Willie B., what's up, man? Thanks for the time. How are you?
What's up, Matt? I know you're low or in the middle of a crisis when you call me, so I'm here to chat.
I appreciate it. Okay, you watch the team. What do you see when you watch this offense?
I think I see the same thing everybody else sees, Matt. It's just the inability to run the football. And we're not talking, 150, 200 yards a game. We're talking 75, 80 yards, just enough to break up a little bit of monotony. I don't see very much push. I see a lot of guys running through in the backfield. And, the more I think about it, the more I just don't think that the offensive line really knows what to do on certain plays.
What do you mean?
It seems like there's some missed assignments. Now I know that we've got some new guys in there, and we've rotated a bunch. We don't really have a solid core that we've been working with for a few years, but everything seems awry. I don't see much push. I don't see guys like finishing to the whistle and blowing guys downfield. Another thing that bothers me about the way that they've run this offense is there is no creativity. And when I say that, I mean you don't see guys pulling. You don't see tosses to the outside. We're not trying to move these athletic linemen. So if we can't line them up and get push off the ball, we got to line them up and get them out in space and create some holes. I don't know if I've seen Joe Sloan run any what we used to call a horn boss, which would just be pull a guard or a tackle and toss it out to the side. There's no plan. It seems like we're just relying on Garrett to throw the ball, and as we've seen, that hasn't played out very well.
Well, do you think that it's inability to run or unwillingness to run that's the problem?
You know, man, I've had this conversation with some former teammates and personnel people, and we all seem to agree that it's an attitude thing, right? Like, you don't just wake up and say, you know what, we're going to run the ball today, or we're going to run the ball this week. You have to. It's a mentality. It's a drive. It is a grind. It's very tough to put yourself in the position to be strong enough to do that. And I just don't see the determination, which is part of the attitude, and being able to run the ball.
Will Blackwell's former LSU All-American. Can they fix it this year?
I don't know, Matt. That's a good question. I mean, attitude, it's mostly mental. And it's one of those things that, you know, we never kind of had to worry about when Coach Moffitt was there. You know, I don't know what the off-season program or camp is like, but, man, we went so hard in June, July, in August that by the time we got to September, we felt like we got a break. Playing a game during game week was way easier. And, you know, looking back on it, I think that was part of the building process of the mentality of, hey, I don't care if we don't get a yard on this play. We're going to get 3 yards next play or 4 yards next play. And you have to have that I'm going to put you in the ground, just mean, dirty, nasty mentality to be able to run the football. And I just don't see that out of anybody on this line.
So what would you do this week with the open date to try to move forward? Because we all sort of universally agree, right? I mean, they have to run the ball better. So
yes.
What do you do this week in this open date?
Well, if it were me, I would have to go back old school. I'd line them up in the eye and make them run power 50 times. Because again, like I said, it is a mentality, and whether or not they can achieve that attitude this year, it's really kind of up to them. I mean, we got guys that are big enough. We got guys that are strong enough. It's just a mindset. And again, you know, I was thinking about this earlier when I talked to Matt, and figured I was going to be talking to you. You know, I'm coaching my son's flag football team, Matt, and we're not very good. But the first game, we didn't score any points, and I had an offense. Well, the second game, you know, I said, that's not going to work. We're going to try something else. We scored 2 touchdowns. You know, so I'm going to build off of the things that I knew that I did well. And the problem with LSU right now is there is not anything that they can build off to do well. Mm. So you might as well start over. Go back to day one. Why not? It's not going to work. But I think the overall issue is that we got to figure out what's going on with Nussmeier. If he's hurt, if he's unable to play to his ability, then we got to do something else. There's never any situation in any other league or team where a guy who's hurt and is not able to perform plays instead of that's the whole point of having a backup. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that.
Do you think it's Brian Kelly said on the Feinbaum show yesterday that they saw 85 to 90% drop 8 against Ole Miss? Meaning, obviously, Ole Miss had 8 defensive backs, 85 to 90% of the snaps. My question is the ineffectiveness throwing the ball, Nussmeier's hurt, or because who the hell can throw against 8 defensive backs?
Well, that is true. You know, obviously, when you got 8 guys in the zone, but that wasn't the whole game. They didn't play that way the whole game, and they definitely weren't. I'm pretty sure they didn't drop 8 when he threw that interception. They were able to drop 8 because we couldn't run the ball for, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes? Might have taken that long before we got – and then, you know, rushing yards, that was really off of that bubble screen, which got called back. So it's just a combination of things. But, again, it all comes back to not being able to run the ball. Yeah. If you can't run the ball, then why would I not drop 8 against you every time? So, again, got to go back to square one. Figure out how to get some rushing yards. We all know that you have to run the ball to be able to pass it.
Will, did you all run any RPO stuff when you played?
We kind of got into it a little bit when Jordan kind of was taking over for Jarrett and they were going back and forth. We did a little bit of speed option, a little bit we were it was just kind of coming into the game, Matt. But our focus was 95% run and then a couple play actions. But even then, that brings me back to the mentality thing, because they knew we were going to run the ball. Everybody knew we were going to run the ball 50 times a game, and we had this call it crazy if you want to, but we just had this idea that nobody could beat us. Now, eventually, we were wrong in the end, but that is a team culture thing that I don't see a lot of dog in this offensive line, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Will Blackwell's with us. The reason I asked about the RPO is I actually heard Hester and Flynn talking about it. There was an interesting thought just to say, if it's an RPO, which is a run with a pass option, then it sort of limits the offensive line and how aggressive you can be, because there's the possibility of a pass. You can't fire off and get to the second level and get downfield. So it does kind of limit your ability. I just didn't know if you had any thought on.
Yeah, it is. That is a good point. But even still, if I'm an offensive lineman in an RPO, I'm still going to maintain trying to get a push. Like, I don't want to sell that it's a pass option. I want them to, no matter what, think it's going to be a run, right? So I'm still coming off the ball. I got a yard and a half, 2 yards, and even at that point, if you have a yard, 2.5 yards of push, then the running back should be able to find a little bit of a crease. There's too many guys in the backfield. There's too much penetration. I mean, we saw him getting home with 3-man rushes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I don't necessarily think that the scheme is the reason that we're not getting push, but then again, it doesn't help the fact that fundamentally it looks like we don't know how to run the ball.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 weeks to get healthy and try to figure something out before South Carolina comes in. I would say, teams are allowed to improve. I mean, they can get better. How much improvement can they make realistically?
I think, like I said, Matt, it's an attitude thing. If they're gonna sit there and be down and say, kick themselves for a week about how poorly they played against Ole Miss, then yeah, it's going to be an issue, and they're probably going to win 6 or 7 games. But like you're saying, if they decide that it is within their power to improve, then they will, and we will see a stark difference against South Carolina.
Hope so. Will Blackwell, former Tiger All-American offensive lineman, always great to chat, man. Thank you for the time.
Anytime, Matt. Hope all is well, brother.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. We're doing great. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, getting close to holiday season. It's when a lot of guys pop the question. If you're thinking to get engaged this holiday season, make sure you pop on in to see our friends at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They got 10 locations, 2 of them in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport. They're online at lmfj.com, lmfj.com. They even have some out-of-state locations as well, Texas, Mississippi. So if you're our audience out of state, make sure you check out the website as well, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Maybe you got an anniversary coming up. You want to trade in that old diamond for an upgrade. You do that at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Ultimately, what they want is for her to be thrilled and for you to be the hero. So they got amazing gifts for any occasion. Anniversaries, birthdays, beautiful timepieces, of course, diamond engagement rings. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Okay, y'all, let me knock out a break. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. We just talked offensive line. We'll talk quarterback in about 16 minutes with Sean Salisbury. We're looking forward to that conversation. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Gents, if you're on hormone replacement therapy, and I know a lot of people are, I have been for a while. I've told you about that. It's absolutely life-changing to get your hormone levels back to where it were when you were a healthy young person. The energy, the ability to burn fat, build muscle, libido, waking energy, the ability to sleep well at night. It changes your life. I mean, you feel like you did when you were younger. And so many of you are on HRT, and I would encourage you that if you are currently on hormone therapy, consider switching to Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'll give you a couple reasons why. Number one, they got the lowest prices and never any contracts. Most places aren't going to make you sign a contract, but they have the absolute lowest prices on HRT. But also, when you do your blood labs every 4 to 6 months to check your levels, Goodwood picks up that expense. They don't pass it on to you. They pick up your blood labs. Check them out today, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
One more teeny-weeny ride before I take her home.
Always appreciate Sunshine. Locations all over Louisiana. SunnyQuip.com, SunnyQuip.com. Get all your tailgate stuff as well. Generators, fans, they got all of it. Of course, zero-turn mowers, gators, hunting season's here. Go see our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, Musu, Tigers in the pros. Yeah, here we go.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, Monday Night Football doubleheader. Mason Taylor. Nice night for the New York Jets. 5 receptions off 7 targets. He had a long of 27, totaled up 65 yards. Did not find the end zone, but we're in a rookie season for Taylor. Not bad. Not bad so far. We'll see how that progresses for him. He's on a horrible team with no quarterback, but, you know, whatever. Speaking of teams with no quarterback, the Cincinnati Bengals. Jake Browning. Man, that was rough. And he can't get the ball to Jamar Chase very well. Tried 8 times, succeeded 5. 23 yards on those 5 receptions for Chase, a long of 10. And that Bengals offense scuffled its way to a loss against the Denver Broncos. Major League Baseball, congrats to 2 former LSU Tigers, Tommy White, Christian Little, both invited to participate in the MLB Arizona Fall League, developmental league for some of the top prospects in Major League Baseball. White, the number 7 prospect in the A's organization, spent time at both high A and double A this season, hit 12 homers. So now he'll continue in Fall League. Christian Little is the other. Of course, he's in the Mariners organization. Spent time in both single A and high A ball this year. Punched out 68 in 62 and 2/3. Red Sox Yankees, that's about to get underway here in 7 minutes. Alex Bregman, he'll be in the lineup for the Sox, hitting third against Max Fried and the Bronx Bombers. We'll give you a full update and recap on Bregman's day on tomorrow's edition of Tigers in the Pros. It wraps it up. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Supper Club. You know what I love so much about Supper Club? I always say, like, no matter what you get at Supper Club, it's going to be the best of that thing you'll get anywhere, if it's steak or the sea bass or the Alaskan king crab. How about their dry-aged meatball appetizer? Okay, you think of meatballs, right? Not at Supper Club. When you order the dry-aged meatball, this is 4 3-ounce meatballs that uses the Sagrera cow meat that's ground and aged for 35 days. And it's topped with buffalo ricotta cheese, served on a bed of house-made marinara, garnished with basil. The meatball contains breadcrumbs, eggs, and cheese in case of any allergies. But I'm telling you, like, it's a 35-day dry-aged meatball. Who does that? Supper Club does that. Which is why you better get your reservation. They're open. Actually, in 6 minutes, they're opening. Open seating at the bar. They got 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables. That's first come, first serve. You can always get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Open date this weekend for the Tigers. It's a great time to pop on in to Supper Club. If you've never been or it's just been a while, get by Supper Club. Supperclubbtr.com for your reservation, supperclubbtr.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. Sean Salisbury is going to be with us here to start hour number 3. And we just have so much quarterback stuff to talk about. Nussmeier, is he hurt? Is he not? If he is, what do you do? The ability to throw against, when, as Brian Kelly said, 85 to 90% drop 8. How do you function against that? How do you get the offense going? Then, of course, from the Saints side, you're going to be facing a rookie in Jaxson Dart. Can Spencer Rattler finally get a win against a Giants defense that sacked Justin Herbert 6 times this past weekend? I mean, we had so much to dive into with Sean. Excited to have this conversation when we come back right after SportsCenter. Hour 3 is next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Always encourage you to get by the website to start. Listen, name brand tires at wholesale prices. You hear me say that all the time. But it's not just a throwaway line. Like, the thing that Shawbills does, this is like the core of their business. They're going to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible because they realize all they have to do is get you in. Because they're going to treat you amazing. It's just it is part of their customer bill of rights. I mean, if it's Charlie's Dozen, which is a dozen benefits extended to you when you buy tires at Shawbills, or their customer bill of rights, and you realize how amazing they treat you, from free tire repairs to free balancing and rotation for the life of the tires, all the different ways, that, honest and fair pricing, all the things that they do to make you feel special and wanted and appreciated, going to make you come back year after year after year after year after year. It's the lifetime value of a customer. They understand it better than anyone. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The march to the World Series beginning today with the start of Major League Baseball's postseason. After coughing up a 15.5-game lead in the AL Central, the Tigers, looking to get back on track, visiting the division champion Guardians in Game 1 of their AL Wildcard Series. Ace Tarek Skubal determined to get Detroit a win.
Skubal delivers. Swing and a miss. Chased it, changeup, and it's strikeout number 14 for Skubal, and 5 in a row on strikes, 1 out.
The call on ESPN Radio. Skubal, 3 hits, 14 Ks, 7 2/3 innings. Guardians had a runner on third, bottom 9, no outs, could not score though. Detroit won at 2-1. Both the Tigers' runs were unearned. And a wild card opener, Cubs won their first home playoff game since the 2017 NLCS, beat the Padres 3-1. Ron Washington won't return as Angels manager in 2026, missed most of this season after undergoing quadruple bypass surgery. NFL Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill won't need another surgery after undergoing a major procedure today to repair his dislocated left knee and multiple torn ligaments. He will play next season, according to his agent.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, Caleb Williams has the Bears sitting at 2-2. I'll tell you if Bears fans should be dreaming about the playoffs. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Keep you updated on the baseball game about to get underway with the Sox and the Yanks. Otterlocks later this hour. Every Tuesday, we visit with Sean Salisbury, and my goodness, do we have a lot to get to today. Sports Talk 790 in Houston, Unpaved on Rumble. That's the YouTube show, weekdays at noon Central, and he's on Twitter, X, at Sean Unfiltered. Yo, man, how are you? Thanks for the time.
I'm doing great, man. Good to talk to you. How are you?
I'd be doing a lot better if LSU had a running game. It's been the most gigantic question here, Sean. Brian Kelly said in the interview with Feinbaum yesterday that they saw 85 to 90% drop 8 against Ole Miss. Yet they ran it 21 times, threw it 34, and managed only 54 yards on the ground. Please help me make sense of why there's that imbalance in this offense when you're facing three-man fronts.
And it was a one-score game, Matt.
Yeah.
One-score game. I was bothered by a little bit of the plan this week, and I didn't know the percentage. You could tell they were dropping into coverage because it's a good quarterback, and you felt make him go through his reads and see if they'll not be greedy. And you know, the oldest cliche in the book is take what they give you. Well, take what they give you means run it downhill. Now, I don't know if that means that LSU is concerned about, a couple injuries on the offensive line. But they got manhandled at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, which isn't typical LSU in my mind now. I know the offensive line's got to play better. But they had their way with LSU's defense this week, not even in the point total, but just with balance. Lane did run it. Well, they run off from 170 yards or something, and the backup quarterback played good football. I can't make sense of it, Matt. I'd love to. You know my affinity for LSU Tigers and for Nussmeier, and maybe that's part of it. Nuss has not played up to the expectations I think we all have, and I hold out hope that he will. Now, whether that's a combination of line play, game plan, execution in the run game, but the fact that they can't run it, and we know Ole Miss has gotten more physical. Now, if you'd have told me going into this game, and you'd never watched football other than, knowing the reputation of teams, and you told me that they were going to get physically punched in the face, I'd have said, LSU, that doesn't happen that often. Well, It happened to an Ole Miss team because most of the time our perception of Ole Miss is what? They want to run it, but they're finesse. We get that feeling of it, but Lane wants to run it. Trust me. Sarkisian wants to. Guys from that system, Mike Leach, they want to run it. But when you make them throw, they're usually pretty efficient at it because of all the formations and window dressing they give you. I was surprised by it. And then when you do that and you're throwing it more than you're running it when they're dropping 8, one is you got to have a game. You got to have a come to Jesus, game plan check. 2 is you're putting the quarterback in a bind to try to do more than he needs to. And it's hard to be patient for 4 quarters in any league, let alone in this one. When they're controlling it, running the football a lot and getting chunks, and every series, even though it was close, you're pressured into, okay, I got to make more plays. And I'm not making excuses for Nussmeier. Plus, when he gets chewed out by Brian, which seemed to happen a bunch, he met him on the sidelines. I think he does that because he knows Nussmeier is tough-minded and can handle it. That being said, I thought their game plan was average at best. I thought they were physically pushed around, which I never would expect, even with the woes on the offensive line of LSU. And the optics were ugly, and the game plan and the end result matched. It was beyond me. Sometimes in a one-score game, you're thinking, well, let's stick to the game plan. And if the game plan is going in, if they drop 8, maybe they were real. I didn't hear Brian's talk if they were confused by it or didn't approach it. But it's like when you play 2 high safeties, and that's not even dropping 8. If you play 2 high safeties and you're rushing 4 in the pass rush, you're getting involved in the run game. When you got 2 high safeties back, they're begging you to run it. Now, when you're dropping 8, they're begging you, whether it's the check down game or whether it's the run game, you got to be able to move piles, and they weren't. And it was a hard watch. I was actually shocked by the physical nature which LSU got pushed around this past Saturday.
LSU running backs had 2 rushing attempts in the first half.
Okay, it's unacceptable in any league from Pop Warner. I don't care. In Pop Warner, Matty, when we put the best player with the ball and say, you just go do your thing, and he ends up running it. But it was opposite. 2 rushing, you just can't do that, especially against a team that is pretty damn explosive when it's a Lane Kiffin offense. You've got to shorten the game. You just do, even though you've got a hell of a quarterback too. I thought that they were out-coached, and I don't say this much coming on your show. Out-coached, out-executed, out-physicaled, and out-finessed. Yeah. There wasn't really anything that LSU did better than Ole Miss. Ole Miss is better than the 13th or 14th ranked team going into that game. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to have a hell of a week this week because LSU did not look like a team that belongs in the Final Four. And I've seen that with a bunch of teams. I think we're seeing a lot of average quarterback play across the board in the NFL and on Saturdays. We are. And I expect more from Nuss, and so does he, and so does LSU. But I also know this. It's really hard when you run the ball 2 times in the first half. If you're Superman, it's hard to complete balls when you're in that situation and they're dropping 8. And usually when they're dropping 8, you have to do everything underneath, and you got to be patient enough for 4 quarters to do it.
Okay, I'm glad you went there because I want to talk about Garrett, because that's been the other giant part of this conversation, Sean. And a couple of weeks ago, Brian Kelly disclosed Nussmeier was dealing with a torso injury, whatever.
Yeah,
and physically against Southeastern last week, I'm not talking about who they played, but I'm just talking about physically, right? Pushing the ball downfield, he looked fine. So you have a day like you have against Ole Miss, and it's stirred up all these questions again if Garrett's hurt. So I guess there's a 2-part that I want to ask you. One, when you're watching him on Saturday, physically, did you notice anything different? That's one. 2 is whenever you drop 8, how difficult is it to find open receivers and maybe to be patient?
Very, very. And that's the thing. What defensive coordinators' philosophy is when you go in with that, and the NFL and college level, their thought process is, and what's one thing that we've always talked about Nuss? Guts, right?
Yeah.
He ain't afraid to take a chance. And Kiff knows that. Lane knows that 100%. So you go into a game, and they're well coordinated on both sides of the ball, is Ole Miss. When you go into a game like that, when you balance it out and drop 8 people, and even if you were able to get out, which you should, if they're dropping 8, your 5 should be able to handle their 3.
Yes.
And if you can't, then you got a major issue. It's inexcusable at any level for 5 guys not to be able to handle 3, whether it's sacks or pressures. They add up. You just absolutely have to, which means you better get 5 out. Running back, tight end, 3 wides, 4 wide receivers, running back. I don't care what your personnel grouping is, and what you have to get 5 out. And if you have to keep a guy in with 5 out, it's an embarrassment to your offense. It just is. Now, moving forward. Now, think about it. When they're dropping out and they're dropping 8, and you've got all the underneath stuff, and you're dropping, whether you're playing too high, dropping 8, or whether you're playing off in quarters. I don't want to get too technical with people that you have to explain it because you can't draw it up right now. But sure. It's very difficult. And what defensive coordinators' philosophy is, they're willing to bet that you're not willing to go 3 series, 75 yards, and check the ball down. Now, when you get to your brilliance, and you guys there in Louisiana have seen it a million times. When Drew Brees was there, he was willing to do it, the NFL level. Shallow cross, check down, check down, check down. And then the defense finally says, oh, that's 8. That's 2 series in a row where he's been willing to methodically go down the field. Because you all want to have the guts, and you want to fit it in a tight window. That's the quarterback position. If the guy's got any guts, show me a quarterback without guts, I'll show you a guy who shouldn't be playing the position. But it's got to be judicious when you are doing that. So what happens is then you start to check it down. They got to come up and make a tackle. 4-yard gain, 3-yard gain, 5-yard gain, which to me, 5, 4, and 3 adds up to 12 yards. That's a first down. But what happens, and if you'll do that, what they do, and Breeze and Manning were so good at it, Brady as well, to be able to, linebacker's tired of driving on the ball and making a tackle in the open field. Bam. They jump it the next time. Then you can hit your plays down the field. But they are banking on the fact that you're eventually going to make a mistake. Either hold the ball too long, your offensive line's been struggling, you're banged up, or you're going to try to force one because you're tired of checking it down, and you pre-snap guess it. So you take shots, ball gets knocked down, 3 and out. And then when you run the ball 2 times in the first half, hell, if I was going in at halftime, and halftime adjustments can be overrated, if you saw that and you're Ole Miss, what are you saying? They don't have the patience or the wherewithal today to run the ball. And they don't think they're good enough to do it. So keep dropping 8. Their best players under center. Make it miserable on him to have to make completions. That's 1. 2, I did not see, for the naked eye, and maybe you did, Matt, and I watched the whole game. I did not see anything visible to me that would say physically, but you could tell the frustration of the impatience and the frustration of what he was going through, which it's normal for a quarterback, but you've got to fight it. You're not fighting coverage, then you got to fight yourself. Whether you like the game plan, whether you like the decisions, whether you like what's going on, whether you've lost trust somewhere, you still got to force yourself to elevate everybody else. And if that means throwing 6 checkdowns, you absolutely have to do it, because you will get yourself in trouble. And Matt, if you're drawing it up, trying to fit 4 or 5 receivers into dealing with 8, we always play the numbers game in sports and in football. We're always taught to play the numbers game. You got 3, I want my 3 on your 2. You got 4, I want my, that I'm going the other way, I want my 3 on your 2. Opposite rotation, wherever it is. But when you're dropping 8, where is that? Where's that hole? Where's that hole? They're begging you to run the football and check it down. And if you don't do either, and you're not patient enough to do either, you're in major, major trouble. And then what happens as a quarterback, you get so tired of it. Like I said, you think, I got to take a shot, because whether it's boring, we're not making enough chunk plays out of it. So you almost will yourself to make it a throw down the field. And that's when you get in trouble. And I could see the frustration on Nussmeier's face, but I couldn't see if there was anything physically wrong. Now, if that question is persisting this week, Maddie, I will tell you this, as good as we think he can be and to elevate and how tough he is, if there is something wrong and you are limiting him into that he can't push it down the field, or the ball's not coming out like you want it to, then you absolutely have to have the guts as a coach to say, then even at 80%, if he's better, we have got to make a change. I'm not suggesting bench him, but if he's physically, difference between being hurt and being injured. Hurt, you play. Injured, it's too much. And that's for them to decipher, because I'm not in the medical business, but I can tell you this, it looked like a confused, obviously not balanced, but a frustrated, even Brian himself looked frustrated and impatient, and that permeated through the whole team. And then on the other side, when you're watching your defense get gashed in a run game and them, running the football and committing to it, and you getting physically pushed around, which is not the nature of LSU, especially on that side of the ball, it wasn't a good thing. And they had their ass handed to them this weekend. They did, even though the score said closer, they got pushed around in Ole Miss, and it was a very, very difficult game to watch if you're an LSU fan. Frustrating.
Sean Salisbury is our guest. Knock out a quick break. Got a big one in the Dome this weekend for a lot of different reasons, not in the standings, but Jaxson Dart's first road start. Can Spencer Rattler finally get a win? I want Sean's thoughts on that. We'll do that as we jump around to the NFL when we come back here on AFR Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions at Glow Resources. Their business is helping your business be more efficient by finding the right people. Boil it down to this. No matter what industry you're in, if you're an engineering firm, if you're a media company, if you're a law firm, if you do skilled blue-collar labor, whatever it may be, the industrial sector, you're only as good as your people. Your people make you efficient. So you have to have the right people in the right jobs. If, especially post-COVID, you are struggling in hiring and finding the right people, Glow Resources can help. They find you permanent solutions. This isn't temp staffing. They find you permanent solutions. Skilled blue-collar labor. Their professional placement division can find you any office job. And they use their network of resources across the country to find the best people. So start online at glowresources.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam, and the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, yeah, he's one of our better players. I think one of the better players at his position in the league. So he has an ACL, so he'll be out. You know, we'll have a tremendous amount of support for him and his family. It's obviously a tough loss for our football team, but we'll regroup and we'll get the guys ready to play that are here and be as good as we can be on the perimeter. I know those guys will do everything they can do to be as good as we can be.
Brian Daboll with the unfortunate news about Malik Nabors out for the season with a torn ACL. Sean Salisbury is our guest. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Sports Talk 790 weekday mornings there in Houston, the Sean Salisbury Show. And if you are not yet subscribed, Unpaved on Rumble is the YouTube channel, weekdays, noon central. Sean, how much, this will feel obvious, but I'm just asking you for a gauge here. How much does not having Malik Nabors impact Jaxson Dart making his first career road start Sunday in the Superdome?
Oh, Matt, I'm always fascinated when people say, oh, you lost a good player, but they'll be fine. No, they won't. It's not fine, okay? You lost an explosive guy who, even if he doesn't, you hear it, oh, they're going to be fine. Yeah, they're fine if you're running the 4x100 meter relay team and you got 4 Usain Bolts, the 3 other guys behind it. It's not fine. You're losing. Oh, yeah, the Bengals will be fine offensively. Chase and Burrow aren't playing. Oh, okay, thanks, guys. So, yeah, I mean, when I hear that, I look like, oh, what is it? I understand glass half full, but overflowing with optimism, I get it now. Yeah. That being said, I think it affects Russ Wilson more than it does Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart's a more explosive player right now. I thought Russ Wilson was a backup going in. I said it. Did I expect that coming out with the energy? Russ Wilson, a pro. I know he threw for 460 or 455 against the Cowboys. Right. Then again, who can't, the way the Cowboys play defense. Right. But with that, there's a different energy, and you saw it on Sunday. I know the stats weren't gaudy, but the one stat that I like is not only did they win the game, but you saw the way not only the offense, but you saw the energy that the defense played with against the opponent. And they gave big Chargers fits in the football game. They were physical. They got after it. So whenever you lose a guy like that, and a lot of times when that guy's not there, Nabors, is the game plan's easier to put in for the defense. It just is, because you're saying, okay, now you don't take it for granted, but you lose a home run hitting guy that is a great player. So we understand the bandwidth now has been shrunk a little bit. So now you're putting in a game plan to say, okay, what's the next strength? And it's obviously the energy, but it's a combination of Jaxson Dart with his legs and his arm. But now you limit it so you don't have to double anybody right now on that team. So it gives you more width with your defense to be able to do some things. That being said, though, I would rather, if I'm the New Orleans Saints, be playing Russ Wilson. I would. I know it's the second start because the energy is different and it's permeating through the team. I think Jaxson Dart's going to be a really good player. He's going to go through struggles, as all rookies do. But if you're Jaxson Dart, and this is no disrespect, but the Saints, the Bengals, teams like that right now are not playing really good football, which is a Captain Obvious statement. So if you're him, without Nabors, you'd rather be doing this than having to go to where you guys did last week and go play Buffalo, or having to go into a defense that's like, wow. And he faced a little bit of that last week. So there's an energy about him. And when Brian Dable hugged him after the game, that smile, I thought, Brian not only was smiling, he's thinking, you might have saved my job, dude. And I got nothing but respect for Russ Wilson. Sure. But it was time. He's a backup in the league now, and you could see the response to the team. Dart will go through it, but it's a chance now for the Saints and Rattler to go get a win, which has been kind of blah for them. He's not killing you offensively, but they're not exploding. Although they ran the football really damn well, they're just not – there's no explosive plays for them for the most part. So this is I know Nabors is out, but you're playing Jaxson Dart. There will be energy with the Giants, and he looks like Russ Wilson did when Russ Wilson was a rookie, using his feet, being smart, attacking and being aggressive, and playing with fire and loving it. There's no fake enthusiasm with Jaxson Dart. The Saints will still be challenged, and you know how it goes when you get new blood. It feels like there's a different energy about them, but this does give the Saints a chance because they can understand that the big play is going to be a lot tougher without Nabors in the lineup.
And so when you flip it, look, Dart gets his first win in his first career start. Spencer Rattler's 0-10. He's still fighting for the first win. Kellen Moore's 0-4. The Saints are actually a small favorite in this game at home against a rookie quarterback, which I get. How do you look at that matchup with Spencer Rattler in the Saints offense against the Giants defense, which, I mean, I don't know if it's the way you feel, but hard to ignore the 6 sacks they got this week against the Chargers. But Rattler against the Giants defense, how do you sort of look at that?
The ball's got to come out, man. I was just, before you said it, I was reading your mind and thinking, I'm going to tell you, they're playing with some juice up front. That was going into the season, maybe their biggest strength, their ability to get after the quarterback. And it ain't just one cat, man. And you start doubling them, now it limits your protections. The ball's got to come out quicker. You may have to see some of Rattler use some of the extension of his legs like he did a lot more in high school, even though he's considered a drop back guy. He was able to make some plays when he was playing in Arizona. But and I know that's a long time ago, but how you muster it up, you're just going to have to deal with it. And here's another problem. If they can get pressure, we've seen this in the past. I'm not saying the Giants are Michael Strahan's Giants, but the way Spags won Super Bowls as on a defense and the way the Giants did it, they pressured with 4, did not have to. You can drop 7, which makes it even more tough on a team that doesn't have a lot of explosives. So once again, you complete 18, 19 balls for 195 yards and no huge plays right into their hand. But I can tell you, it will speed up your game plan time clock. When you're putting it in, you're putting in your offense. If you're the Saints, you're saying, okay, we're not real good. We don't have a lot of explosives. They don't have to play man coverage if they don't want to behind us, because behind their pass rush, because they're generating enough pressure. And it also gives them the advantage of being able, if they can defend the run without having to A-gap blitz, that'll be the challenge. If you can stop the run and just make Spencer Rattler play patient. And when you've lost this many in a row as a starting quarterback, Matty, what do you think the first thought process for a quarterback is? Yeah. Forcing a big play. Yeah. We talked a little bit about it with Nuss, but even more so because you're not only carrying the burden about, well, they're getting pressure with 4. What do I do? And I'm facing some zones against them. Now we don't have a lot of big plays, so now they're able to get pressure. And if they can stop the run, then you start thinking, and if you're Rattler, I would do the same thing. Where do I find this area where I can fit a ball into where we can change the course of what we're doing? Now, I've seen a lot of young quarterbacks go through hell, I'm not comparing him to Aikman, but Troy was, I think, 1-10 or 1-11, getting his brains beat in as a rookie. And it turned out he went to the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying Rattler, but at some point in time, you think one of these days it's going to change for me. The question is, how long will they allow this, and how can Rattler continue to say, okay, just don't turn it over, and maybe playing against a rookie that he's the experienced one in the game, meaning Rattler, that we can get something going. I couldn't pull any harder for Spencer Rattler to get one, because once you get one, maybe they get 2 or 3 more, but it'd be worse if they were a good team and they were losing because of him.
Yeah.
Right now, they're still losing in spite of him and not a lot of big plays. So the frustration exists. And while they should be favorites at home, I don't think it's a surefire win for them. They have to run the football if the Giants are going to play a couple high safeties, or if they're just going to play with a 4-man front and pressure you that way, they're going to have to run it again this week. But somehow, some way, maybe it's a block punt, they're going to have to establish some bigger plays on the offense, whatever that might be, and get a couple short fields, because the energy will be in the building, because Dart's going to treat it like he's playing in a playoff game. He's not going to take it lightly because it's only a second start, and he wants that job to be his from here on.
Yeah. I got one more for you, and you're right. Look, I don't think there's anything that's a sure thing for these Saints. I mean, they're not a very good team, but Giants, Patriots, like, you're in a bad division. You get 2 swings at Carolina. You get 2 swings at Atlanta. They get the Jets at home. I mean, there's some opportunities, but my question for you, Sean, is, look, the Saints are going to finish with one of the worst records in the NFL. They're going to probably have a top 5 pick, which means they'll have an opportunity to maybe draft a quarterback in the top 5 next year. So at some point, though, you got to figure out what you have in Tyler Shuck, right? So, I mean, you don't want to kick Rattler to the curb, but you also have to recognize you spent the 40th pick on Shuck. What do you have here? And is there enough with either of these guys to pass on drafting a quarterback in the top 5 next year? So how do you approach that?
This is the most depressing conversation I've ever had with you, Matt. You talk about LSU. Normally, one of them's fired and stuff. It's like, damn, yeah. I don't usually have to talk about both like this, because it's like, it's a bummer, and you have to do it 5 days a week. So I get it. And I'm obviously kidding a little bit, but it's got to be a frustrating week for a lot of people in Louisiana talking about these two teams. A couple things to this. One is, and let me back it up a little bit. Right now, and I know this is going to sound crazy, do you see a top 5 pick in this draft at quarterback playing college football right now?
No,
Results? I don't.
No, but I also would have never
You're going to do it anyway, because that's what we do every year. You're 100%.
Sure.
I get it. And familiarity, I do. But I'm saying performance-wise. But, it's a long season, the off season, doing your pro day. They're going to, because just by attrition, you have to. Now, the Saints don't have to, because it's been since Archie Manning since they decided to do it. So it may be time after 800 years that it's time. Now, moving it forward, and plus fan base, like wins are going to happen. Obviously, Arch, if he comes out, maybe a favorite there. Nuss, if it goes and he proves that I'm worthy of a top 5 pick, which I still think he's got a skill set, of course. I don't quit on guys after a slower start. I do believe if you're going to do it, and it's not, you do got to see. Just like in Cleveland, at some point, Flacco, I love him, God bless him. I got to see if Gabriel's the answer, if Shedeur. I just do. I do. And it's the same thing here. There comes a point in time, as much as you may say it's not Rattler, and he's playing fine but not explosive, you do got to say, okay, what's going to get us that win? Is it the energy like Dart brings, and Shook could bring it to you? You do. Because, Matty, what you don't want to do is go into next year saying, well, we're not winning with this guy. We stuck with him even though we didn't win. And then the guy that we drafted that comes highly regarded, even though he's not a first-round pick, and he's got some experience, a little older, if you don't see him, now you go into spring and you go into the draft saying, well, what do we do? We didn't give him a look. Do we wait till a later round again, which is the history of the Saints, and then he's our guy next year if he wins the job in spring or in fall camp? Or do you say we're drafting one anyway, and you've kind of said, well, one of them's going to go. They're both not here, and Shook will be the backup even though it hadn't worked. I promise you, if this continues another game or two, they are going to play him. Regardless of the stats, the only stat that they're going to have to, if you're Kellen Moore, say, I got to see if there's this boost we need. Hell, Russell threw for 455 or 460, and you benched him.
Yeah.
Because the next week he wasn't good. So the stats are fine and dandy, but it's the wins and losses. Just out of sheer frustration. It's not a dog on Rattler. It's just we got to find spark. I've been on teams that have had to do it as a starter, college and pro, and I've been on teams that had to do it when I was a backup. And I've seen it both ways. So, and it's just, man, we got to find something. I would say we are in the 2 to 3 week range, that if it continues like we've seen, just kind of blah offensive football, you are going to have to see what you got. And if he plays well, you run it out. I don't know if you're going to toggle back and forth, but if he plays well, then you're going to say, okay, it's his job to lose now, and we're going to run it out. And then if he plays well enough to say, hold off on one, because in truth, Matt, you and I both know the Saints with the salary cap hell are still 5 players away from being 5 players away. They need more than just that guy at quarterback. So you do got to see what Shook can do before it's over. Both at some point in time are going to start, because I don't see any miracles happening offensively right now. And it's going to fall on the quarterback, even though it probably shouldn't fully. but it will. And Kellen Moore knows the pressure that continues to mount. You will see shook if this continues the next couple of weeks. Before the end of October would be my guess if they're just not exploding on offense.
Sean Salisbury, host of the Sean Salisbury Show, weekdays on Sports Talk 790 in Houston. Make sure if you haven't done it yet, get to Unpaved on Rumble. That's a YouTube channel, Unpaved on Rumble. Subscribe there and follow him on Twitter, X, at Sean Unfiltered. Man, we always appreciate you. We'll do it again next week. Thank you. Cool. I think we might have lost audio there. We appreciate Sean. Thanks as always, man. It is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. That's the website if you want to learn more about that championship health partnership. But we always say as well, of course, Our Lady of the Lake is part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, which is a multi-state health system that serves all of Louisiana. And they've committed more than $250 million into facility upgrades just in the next year at so many of their different facilities. So no matter what it may be, if it's specialized care, if it's pediatrics, if it's heart health, if it's cancer services, stroke, Our Lady of the Lake can help the same way they care for the student athletes at LSU. It's the championship health partner, Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Okay, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. Otter Locks here in about 15 minutes. Got baseball going on right now with the Yanks and the Sox. We'll see what Jimmy's got us betting on tonight. Otter Locks will be live at louisianasports.net if you want to go get those plays right now. We'll knock out a quick break and continue here on AFR.
AFR.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
after further review. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's the only one who really understands what gets me.
Thank a farmer. Our friends at Sunshine do every single day. Sunnyquip.com, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunshine, newest location, coming on Pico in Baton Rouge. Soon I pass it every day when I'm driving home. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Interesting piece up at Yahoo. It was Nick Bromberg who wrote it, and the title was College Football Winners and Losers coming out of this weekend. He says, the SEC has a lot of very good teams. Does it have any really great ones? And of course, we just saw Alabama beat Georgia. We saw Tennessee go to overtime against Mississippi State. We saw LSU kind of getting a slugfest there with Ole Miss and come up short. All the preseason expectations of Texas as the preseason number one team losing the way they did to Ohio State and not really looking impressive. You can go up and down the list and look at warts for every team, really. As impressive at times as Oklahoma has been, now you look at the concern with losing their quarterback with a hand injury. When John Mateer was really the preseason or was emerging as a front runner for the Heisman. Of course, we saw Alabama lose to Florida State, and then even in the win against Georgia, got shut out in the second half, gave up over 200 rushing yards. There's just a whole bunch of warts. And my theory on this is I think this is just going to become the norm in college football. I think the days of seeing a truly dominant team in the SEC or the Big Ten or anywhere is just going to be a thing of the past. It's going to go the way of the dodo bird, because the transfer portal isn't going to allow for you to build great depth. I mean, one of the reasons primarily why Nick Saban was able to build the sustained success he did over a decade and a half was every year they signed the best high school class. And those guys couldn't leave. So they stayed and developed. And so they always had better depth. But behind every five-star was another five-star. Well, now your five-stars don't play, they don't stay. We've gone over these numbers before, but roughly a third of every player in college football goes into the portal in a given year. And so if you have that happen at your program over the course of 2 years, you're basically turning over half your roster. So that's all of your young depth. And you can't help but think of, okay, look at the problem LSU has, right now on the offensive line. Okay, well, what if Lance Hurd stayed? I mean, I understand, he's had some issues at Tennessee, but he would have been a third-year player starting right now as a former five-star taking over for Will Campbell. You'd had another five-star waiting in the wings, ready to take that spot. You'd be in a much better spot, wouldn't you? In theory. And you could do that at every position. Literally all the positions where you've brought in guys that have left via the portal. So, I mean, I understand that that's the nature of it. And I'm a guy that wholly endorses players' ability and right to transfer and go make money in NIL, and I'm for that. So I'm not bemoaning the situation. I'm just explaining that I think this is what's going to be the norm. And so instead of a heavy emphasis on high school recruiting, you're going to see more of an emphasis on the portal. We had Shea Dixon with us in hour one. And look at, and by the way, this is one of the reasons why, despite as ugly as it was Saturday, and I know some people are melting and saying they're going to go 6-6, but I mean, you're the same people that said that in 22. When LSU lost an ugly game to Florida State, they got blown out at home by Tennessee. And what happened? They beat undefeated Ole Miss. They beat Alabama at home. They end up in the SEC championship game. Say it in every sport all the time. And I don't mean for it to sound cliche, but it's true. Teams can improve. You work on things. You get better. It's a long season. Just play it out. I know some of you want me to yell and scream and curse and throw things. I've just done this long enough to know, be patient and play the long game. And maybe it won't be great. And if it's not, there'll be reaction and consequences at the end of the season, all that stuff. But all that to say, without a dominant team in the SEC or in college football, everything is in play for you right now. And I think this is actually good for college football because it breeds parity instead of just the assumption that, well, it's Bama, Georgia. Well, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, or whatever it's going to be, right? The 3-4 teams that actually have a shot to win a national championship. Now, like, would it stun you? Like, would you be fall over stunned if Ole Miss made the playoff and beat Penn State? I wouldn't. Would you be surprised if Oregon beat Georgia in the playoff? Or if Oklahoma got in behind John Mateer and they were able to beat, I don't know, Florida State? It's just, you look up and down, look sea to shining sea, and like, this is the point. This has bred more parity, and you could say it's watered down the sport. I disagree. I think it's just leveled the playing field. I just think your superpowers have just now been diluted a bit more. And to the contrary, at the bottom, at the G5 or G6 level, when you have really good players, they've been able to elevate. Look, like, I know A.J. Halsey was at Houston, which is a Power 4 now, but look at that. Isn't that a great example? The guy was a 3-star, so nobody wanted him out of high school. He goes to New Mexico, then ends up at Houston. Now he's playing like an All-American. Like, A.J. Halsey is playing like an All-American, certainly an all-conference safety, and could end up being a high draft pick. Good for him. Great for him. Great for LSU. It's just different. We just have to reframe how we think about roster building and how seasons play out. You just gotta, someone's got to be patient. I know nobody wants to hear it, but man, talk about Ohio State a year ago. Like, if you have any interest, maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow. This could be a good thing tomorrow. Let's go like dig and find some of the narratives on Ohio State, some columns and some things from, like, I'm serious. But the whole thing on Ohio State last year was how Chip Kelly couldn't figure out the offense. Well, they were winning games, but then they lost to Oregon. Then they lost to 6-6 Michigan, or a 500 Michigan team. I guess they finished 6-6 after they beat Ohio State. And then they figured it out. They got in the tournament. They figured it out. So, listen, I'm not here to sunshine pump. I get everybody's pissed about the Ole Miss loss, and you should be. It's perplexing what's happened. I'm just saying it's a long season. You got a long way to go, and you got a very talented roster capable of beating anybody on your schedule. Get healthy and find a running game, for the love of God. At least commit to running the football. Like, go in the power I. Like, what's wrong with that? Let's go under center, go in the power I, and let's just run the football. Do some play action. A little less miles isn't a bad thing. Too much less miles is not good. A little less miles isn't a bad thing. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. That's what Macy Rushing and her husband did. And I had a chance to talk to her, and she told me her story.
We are first-generation cattle farmers, and we were nervous. Like, we didn't know where to go, what to do, and they had all the answers, and they were with us, like, every step of the way, and they made it so easy.
It doesn't matter if you're a cattle farmer, if you're or a cattle rancher, a farmer, if you're trying to buy that property to build your family's dream home, or you want the recreational property, you're going to have an amazing experience, and that's what Macy Rushing and her husband had.
They're just good people. They're fun. Normally when I go into the bank, I'm, like, nervous. Like, oh, I got to go pay a bill, or, oh, I have a question. And I walk right in. My kids go grab a sucker. I walk right through the doors to my loan officer's office. He's like, hey, you want to grab lunch? Or at the end of the day, it's a bank and you're there for a reason. But at the end of the day, we've made friends with our loan officers. Overall, it's just been an amazing experience. I've recommended people to them. I've sent people their way. And every single one of my friends has had the exact same experience.
Don't take my word for it. Listen to Macy Rushing. First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Yankees up on the Red Sox, 1-0. They're bottom 3 in the Bronx. We'll knock out a break. Jimmy will be here for Autolocks. Don't you move. AFR.
AFR.
It is officially time to break out the heater safety check. Tell you about it every single year and why it's so important. And our friends at River Cities 1 Hour Air make this so affordable. remember, in Louisiana, I mean, we crank up our heaters, from maybe like November, maybe December to March, maybe one more cold snap, March 8, beginning of April. But the point being, your heater lays dormant for months, collecting dust, not being used. It can be hazardous. It's why before that first cold snap hits, before you crank on the heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air. Let them do their heater safety check. Make sure it's safe and efficient. And mention the show. They'll save you $30. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal. Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's. One love. Let's go.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, live from the Raising Cane's studio. Got little cane there, got big cane there, got canes everywhere. Canes here, canes there, canes everywhere. All right, time for Auto Locks. Hit it, Muse.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Doing fantastic. Yankees are beating the Red Sox right now, Otter.
1-0 into 3. Good shape. It's fun.
Shut up.
Little controversy to keep Volpe in the lineup instead of Chisholm, and he goes Oppo.
How about it?
Of all people.
Boone's a brilliant guy. I always said it. Great manager. Brilliant. Just give him a raise. Give him an extension.
Oh, we'll make sure we limit the ticket purchases to, to New York. Don't want Moscona creeping on in the Yankee Stadium.
You got to play on the night game?
We sure do. We're going to go under again. It's the first day of the playoffs. We talked about it on Live at Lunch earlier today, and so far 2 for 2. And in fact, you've got a middle working right here, as this one is on pace to continue that trend. But it's just the pitching is, especially the rested pitching, and also some of those bullpens, especially the Dodgers. And I will give out, I'm not a Dodger fan by any stretch, but rested. Actually, they need a little work, and it's a nice tune-up for them. Plus 550 is available for the Dodgers to win the World Series. But tonight's game, we're going to stick with the under. Reds in the Hunter Green's been pitching really good. And
1 minute remaining.
And Snell has been outstanding as well. Early game tomorrow, the noon game.
Okay.
Going to look for Tyner Bybee for the Guardians to bounce back. Short number there, about -20, -25. Look for the Guardians to bounce back. Tarek Skubal was unbelievable again.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, he's just too damn good. So he was tough in that 2-1 win today.
All right. So the Red Sox on the money line are trailing the Yanks right now. You actually better price if you want to get on. And then tonight, Reds, Dodgers under 7, and then Guardians tomorrow on the money line. There's an early auto lock play for tomorrow. Where are you tomorrow?
Pin Bomb, Sushi, Burrito, Poke, Ramen, Burbank, and Lee, right next to Rouse's.
All right, Otter. Good luck. Thank you.
Good luck, man.
All right, be well. It's after further review. We're getting on down the road. Remember, you miss anything AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf, YouTube podcast. You find it all there. That'll do it for us. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
If you need standby generator power, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO. Arco.com. 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 Say it with me. Arco.com. Arco.
Polo.
There it is. We worked on that yesterday. Arco.
Polo.
Yeah, we'll see if it sticks. Arco.
Polo.
Arco Power Systems. This is not a generator for your home. This is industrial generator power. Okay? So your business, your storm comes, knocks the power out. Ice storm comes, snowstorm comes, knocks power out. What do? Arco Power Systems. San Antonio to Mobile, north to Little Rock, and everywhere in between. Arco.com. Check them out for your business. Arco.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.